Chapter 2060. The battle spirits in the boneyard were very peculiar. It was all because of the reincarnation jade annulus that the boneyard and battle spirits were formed. Therefore, these battle spirits were very sensitive to the secret reincarnation technique. Even though Ling Zhao's heaven-shrouding technique was extremely mysterious and could conceal all his aura, he could still be sensed by the battle spirits outside the reincarnation jade annulus because he cultivated the secret reincarnation technique. When Xue Wei entered the reincarnation jade annulus previously, she had fought her way out with great difficulty and entered the reincarnation jade annulus by surprise. Therefore, Ling Xiao was ready to kill his way out of the boneyard, and the four battle spirits were the biggest tigers blocking his way. Let's kill our way out. Ling Zhao's fighting spirit rose around him. His eyes were blazing and his voice was sonorous. When two rivals met on a narrow path, the brave would win. Since there was no way to avoid this battle, they might as well kill their way out. All right. It's just four battle spirits. As long as we can break out of their encirclement, we can kill our way out. Fatty Xiao He also smiled proudly. After obtaining the secret reincarnation technique from the reincarnation jade annulus, Fatty Xiao He's wish had been fulfilled. He immediately acted without any scruples. White Dragon Horse and Xue Wei naturally had no objections and nodded in agreement. Kacha! Black divine light flashed around Fatty Xiao He and he instantly turned into a Kunpeng with a pair of wings on his back. Chaotic chi filled the air. His aura was ancient and mysterious as if it could break the sky. Ling Xiao leaped onto the back of the Kunpeng while Xue Wei rode on the back of White Dragon Horse. The two of them smiled at each other and instantly rushed out of the reincarnation jade annulus. Boom! The void shook and chaotic mist rose. Two bolts of lightning, one black and one white, instantly rushed out of the boneyard and shot out of the boneyard. How dare you! A thunderous voice exploded in the void. The four battle spirits sitting cross-legged around the reincarnation jade annulus all had cold eyes. Terrifying killing intent filled their bodies as they attacked at the same time. Rumble! Four dazzling divine lights shot out from the palms of the four battle spirits at the same time. They traversed the void and intertwined into a blazing net that enveloped Ling Xiao and the others. Terrifying saintly might filled the air, and the world around them trembled violently. Within the net of divine light, sharp chi interweaved as if it wanted to annihilate all living things. Open! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He stepped on the Kunpeng and punched out. A golden fist print exploded like a blazing sun. It was extremely ferocious. Clang! On the other hand, an ancient sword appeared in Xue Wei's palm. Sword light rose up, emitting a clear sword chime. In an instant, hundreds of millions of sword lights gushed out, containing the true meaning of the cycle of life and death. They slashed toward the heads of the four battle spirits. Rumble! The space shook violently as the divine light exploded all of a sudden. It was like an endless wave had rushed into the sky, dyeing the surroundings white. The fist print that soared into the sky was released. It shone together with Xue Wei's reincarnation sword will and tore apart the divine light net. In the end, they were both annihilated. However, their speed was also affected, and they were blocked by the four battle spirits. Hand over the secret reincarnation technique, or die. The two human-shaped battle spirits, one was an old man with white hair and beard, and the other was a young man in green clothes, stared at Ling Xiao and Xue Wei with undisguised passion in their eyes. Outsiders, you deserve to die. The secret reincarnation technique is the treasure of the land of buried bones. Hand it over and we will spare your lives. The snake-shaped battle spirit and the eagle-shaped battle spirit said coldly. The killing intent around them was boiling like the sea. If you want the secret reincarnation technique, then go and comprehend the reincarnation jade annulus. If you don't have the ability to comprehend the secret reincarnation technique from the reincarnation jade annulus, then you want to rob us? Fatty Blackie said disdainfully. Hee hee, Fatty Blackie, you may not know, but I think these four guys are too stupid. They have no way to comprehend the secret reincarnation technique. Even if we give them the secret reincarnation technique, they won't be able to learn it. The white dragon horse chuckled and chimed in with Fatty Blackie. Such stupid things want the secret reincarnation technique? You'd better die. Fatty Blackie sneered. Then, terrifying divine light surged around his body. He suddenly opened his mouth and a vast devouring vortex erupted, wanting to swallow the 4 battle spirits into his stomach. The Kuan Pang's inner world was extremely terrifying. Even if a saint was swallowed into it, he would be forcefully refined. Fatty Blackie was also planning to take them by surprise. He wanted to devour the 4 battle spirits. Unfortunately, Fatty Xiao Hei's wishful thinking was wrong. He had underestimated the strength of the 4 battle spirits. Boom! The snake-shaped battle spirit instantly soared into the sky. Its snake tail was like a whip and suddenly lashed towards Fatty Blackie's mouth. Its speed was as fast as lightning. A vast saint aura erupted. It was like a powerful snake-shaped saint treasure, and it directly sent Fatty Blackie flying. Chirp! The eagle-shaped battle spirit took advantage of the opportunity to leap into the sky. Its sharp beak pecked at Fatty Blackie's head. If Fatty Blackie was pecked by the eagle-shaped battle spirit, his brain would definitely burst open. Get lost! Ling Zhao's eyes were cold. The flipping sky seal flew out from his palm. Black saint light gushed out like a black mountain, as if it could even break the heavens and earth. It directly collided with the eagle-shaped battle spirit. Boom! The eagle-shaped battle spirit seemed to have felt the power of the flipping sky seal. Its sharp claws suddenly slapped on the flipping sky seal, causing the void to shake violently. The eagle-shaped battle spirit directly leaped up with the help of the rebound force. The snake-shaped battle spirit and the eagle-shaped battle spirit looked at each other. At the same time, a murderous aura spread out from their bodies and they rushed towards Ling Xiao. Whoosh! Whoosh! At the same time, the white-haired old man and the green-robed young man were surrounded by Saint Aura. Their attacks were extremely fierce as they rushed towards Xue Wei at the same time. The 4 battle spirits could feel that Ling Xiao and Xue Wei's secret reincarnation technique was the purest. Therefore, they chose to attack Ling Xiao and Xue Wei at the same time, wanting to capture them alive. The strength of these 4 battle spirits has almost surpassed the limit of the saint realm and is comparable to a great saint expert. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered. He felt a great pressure all over his body. Although he had the flipping sky seal, a supreme treasure, the combination of the snake-shaped battle spirit and the eagle-shaped battle spirit was extremely ingenious. Moreover, their strength was extremely terrifying, making Ling Xiao feel a little awkward. Xue Wei's reincarnation sword essence was extremely powerful. Sword qi rose up and swept across tens of thousands of miles. It was almost able to break open the heavens and earth. Chapter 2061. Brother Ling Xia, can you help me stall these 4 battle spirits for 10 breaths of time? I have a way to trap them temporarily. Suddenly, Xue Wei's voice came into Ling Zhao's mind. 10 breaths of time. Okay. Although Ling Xiao did not know what Xue Wei had, he believed her immediately. Rumble. The aura around him was extremely violent. In an instant, it was overflowing with divine light. His left hand was holding the invincible fist print. It was unstoppable, as if it was surrounded by 3,000 worlds. His right hand was holding the flipping sky seal, which controlled the Tao of heaven and earth. Little Loach, how dare you hit your grandfather? I'm telling you, you're dead meat. No one in this world can save you. Fatty Blackie said fiercely with bloodshot eyes. He had just been sent flying by the snake-shaped battle spirit. If Ling Xiao had not saved him, his head would have been pecked open by the eagle-shaped battle spirit. This made him extremely angry. Who was he? The overlord of the demonic beasts in ancient times, the supreme divine beast Kuan Pang. Although the snake-shaped battle spirit and the eagle-shaped battle spirit were extremely powerful, their bloodline was naturally far inferior to the Kuan Pang. Black divine light rose around Fatty Blackie. Black wings instantly shot across the sky, turning into hundreds of millions of black sword light, falling towards the 4 battle spirits at the same time. Roar! The white dragon horse's body also burst with blazing lightning. Its eyes shot out mysterious and ancient golden light. An incomparably ancient dragon's roar burst out from its mouth, containing a powerful sound wave magical power. This was the innate superpower of the white dragon horse's bloodline. It was the fusion of the superpower of the dragon tribe and the Pegasus tribe. It contained an extreme killing power that directly targeted the primordial spirit. It was extremely terrifying. When Ling Xiao attacked, Fatty Blackie and the white dragon horse instantly understood Ling Xiao's plan. They chose to attack at the same time without prior agreement. Rumble. The white dragon horse's sound wave divine ability exploded. Even though the strength of the 4 war spirits was incomparably terrifying, their bodies still trembled violently. They felt dizzy, as if they were pierced by billions of steel needles. It was incomparably painful. At the same time, Fatty Xiao Hei's billions of sword lights descended like a blazing sea of sword qi, slashing at the 4 battle spirits and instantly annihilating them. In the end, Ling Xiao's Celestial Emperor's fist and the flipping sky seal came crashing down at the same time. Terrifying waves of energy washed away the surrounding chaotic qi, causing the void to explode. Under the terrifying attack of the 3 of them at the same time, even a saint would be instantly killed if he did not have a powerful trump card. However, the strength of the 4 great battle spirits was far beyond Ling Xiao and the others' imagination. It was not something that an ordinary saint could compare with. Boom! Divine light exploded all over the sky, and the void shook violently. Although the 4 war spirits were caught off guard by the white dragon horse's sound wave divine ability, they reacted almost instantly. At the same time, they used their powerful divine ability to resist. Moreover, battle spirits were originally formless and intangible. They were formed from an obsession. The attacks of Soaring Firmament and the Kunpeng didn't cause too much damage to them. Instead, they aroused the anger and killing intent of the 4 battle spirits. You're courting death. The 4 great battle spirits roared and charged toward Ling Xiao and the others at the same time. Reincarnation and rebirth, indestructible and indestructible. Suddenly, Shui Wei softly chanted scriptures. Her voice was ethereal and ethereal, as though it came from the 9 heavens. A mysterious wave spread out. Shui Wei stretched out her slender hand, and mysterious black and white runes formed in her palm. Then, they flew toward the 4 great battle spirits. The black and white runes were incomparably mysterious. They emitted strong waves of the void, as though they were layers upon layers of spatial worlds, forming an endless world of reincarnation. The figures of the 4 great battle spirits froze in the void at the same time. Their eyes became dazed, and they looked a little sluggish. It was as though they had sunk into a mysterious world. Brother Ling Xiao, let's go. Shui Wei's face suddenly turned pale, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Then, she quickly said to Ling Xiao. Shui Wei, are you all right? Ling Xiao's heart ached, and he quickly rushed forward to support Shui Wei. He could feel that Shui Wei's aura had become a little weak. It was obvious that Shui Wei had paid a great price to trap the 4 great battle spirits. Swoosh! Swoosh! Fatty Blackie and the white dragon horse did not dare to delay. While the 4 great battle spirits were in a daze, they instantly brought Ling Xiao and Shui Wei out of the boneyard. The other battle spirits were originally outside the reincarnation jade wall, eyeing Ling Xiao and the others covetously. At this moment, some of them wanted to attack, but they could not catch up with Fatty Blackie and the white dragon horse. In the end, they could only give up helplessly. Cough cough. Brother Ling Xiao, I'm fine. Just now, I used the reincarnation blood curse to create a world of reincarnation to temporarily trap the 4 great battle spirits. However, the 4 great battle spirits' strength is incomparably terrifying. I'm afraid I won't be able to trap them for long. We have to leave the boneyard as soon as possible. Shui Wei coughed out a mouthful of blood, and her aura became weak. She lay gently in Ling Xiao's arms, and a trace of red appeared on her face. She exuded a soul-stirring beauty. Reincarnation blood curse? Silly girl, why do you have to do this? Ling Xiao's expression changed slightly. He had cultivated the secret skill of reincarnation, and he knew that the reincarnation blood curse was a forbidden technique in the secret skill of reincarnation. It could form a mysterious reincarnation illusion, and make people sink into it forever. However, the reincarnation blood curse had extremely high requirements for the caster. Xue Wei must have paid a great price to use the reincarnation blood curse. Take it quickly. Ling Xiao took out an eternal fate elixir and fed it to Xue Wei. The eternal fate elixir contained a vast amount of life essence, and it had a miraculous effect on Dao injuries. Xue Wei had only used too much blood essence. One eternal fate elixir instantly stabilized Xue Wei's aura. Pure life essence filled the air, and her face became much rosier. Seeing that Xue Wei's complexion had improved, Ling Xiao's anxious heart also relaxed. Where are you going? Get your ass back here. Two thunderous roars sounded. The voices of the four great battle spirits came from behind Ling Xiao and the others. They should have broken the reincarnation blood curse and caught up with them. So fast. It seems that the four great battle spirits' strength has indeed reached the great sage realm. We can't possibly be their match. Leave the boneyard quickly. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and his expression was somewhat solemn as he spoke. Don't worry. The four great battle spirits' strength is not bad, but if they want to catch up with me, they'll have to wait until their next lives. Chapter 2062. Rumble. Ling Xiao and Xue Wei rode the Kunpeng and the white dragon horse to escape from the boneyard. The four battle spirits chased after them relentlessly. Ling Xiao could even feel the terrifying killing intent of the four battle spirits. It was as if the killing intent had materialized, sending chills down his spine. However, whether it was the Kunpeng or the white dragon horse, they had extreme speed and could travel through the void. Even if the four battle spirits were extremely powerful, they could not catch up with them in a short time. The four battle spirits were so angry that they cried out loudly. They were incomparably anxious. After all, they could only move within the boneyard. If Ling Xiao and the others escaped from the boneyard, they could only watch helplessly. The surrounding void was distorted, and the chaotic fog rose. It was as if everything had become blurry. One could only see two lightning bolts, one black and one white, shooting out of the boneyard. Outside the boneyard, there were already thousands of figures gathered. Each of them had an incomparably powerful aura, and their eyes were blazing with passion. These people were attracted by the blazing divine light that shot out from the boneyard. However, no one dared to take a step into the boneyard. In the area of white bones, there were dozens of fresh skeletons. There were even bloodstains that had not dried up, emitting a strong smell of blood. The boneyard was like a forbidden area, blocking everyone who wanted to enter the boneyard. What kind of place is this strange place? Why are there so many skeletons? Damn it! Why are there so many terrifying battle spirits here? Dozens of experts, including 9th Revolution half-saint experts, have died here without any surprise. There must be an incredible treasure in the center of this area. It's a pity that we can't go in. Everyone was discussing spiritedly. Their eyes were filled with unwillingness. Senior brother Ziyang, is there really no way to enter this boneyard? Hua Tianqiong said with some regret. They could feel that the blazing divine light in the center must be the birth of some treasure or expert's cave. However, there was a group of incomparably terrifying battle spirits blocking them. They could only watch helplessly. Even a 9th Revolution half-saint died silently. We can't rule out the possibility that there are even stronger battle spirits. I'm afraid we are no match for them. Yang Wen said somewhat dispiritedly. Hua Ziyang's eyes shone with divine light as he stared at the bone burial ground. He slowly said, let's wait a little longer. I have a feeling that the treasure will come out by itself in this strange place. It ran out on its own. How is this possible? Hua Tianxiong and Yang Wen were both confused. Their gazes turned to the bone burial ground. That place was shrouded in primordial mist, and they could vaguely see an incomparably vast and mysterious region. However, what did Hua Xiang mean when he said that the treasure had appeared by itself? Rumble. Suddenly, the ground began to shake violently. The surrounding space trembled, and the chaotic mist began to disperse. Is something coming out? Hua Tianxiong's body shook as a look of pleasant surprise appeared in his eyes. Could it be that Hua Xiang's words were going to come true? The treasure in the bone burial ground came out by itself. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ling Xiao and Xue Wei were extremely fast. Seeing that they were about to reach the edge of the bone burial ground, a look of pleasant surprise appeared in their eyes. Ha ha ha! You four old farts, drink your grandpa's foot-washing water. I'm not going to play with you anymore. The white dragon horse laughed arrogantly as it turned around to leave the bone burial ground. That's Long Outyan. It seems like a battle spirit is chasing after them. Yang Wen exclaimed. Runes filled his eyes, making him look very mysterious. Stop him. Hua Ziyang's eyes turned cold as killing intent erupted from his body. A terrifying aura filled the air as he charged towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. A purple divine sun rose from the center of his palm. It was an extremely powerful saint artifact. Flames filled the air as if it could burn everything. Hua Tianxiong and Yang Wen exchanged glances. Their eyes were extremely cold as they followed Hua Ziyang's lead. They also unleashed their strongest attacks towards Ling Xiao. This sudden turn of events stunned everyone. They did not expect that someone would actually escape from the bone burial ground. What was even more unexpected was that Hua Ziyang and the others would actually attack. Too ruthless. This is a great enmity. Once those people are stopped, I'm afraid they will be torn to pieces by the battle spirits in an instant. Someone exclaimed as a trace of sympathy appeared in his eyes. They could see that the four battle spirits behind Ling Xiao were incomparably terrifying. Just their auras from so far away made their hearts tremble. Once Ling Xiao and the others were caught by the four battle spirits, they would probably end up in a miserable state. Ling Xiao and Ziwei were about to reach the edge of the bone burial ground. Just as they were about to rush out of the bone burial ground, they suddenly felt a terrifying killing intent coming towards them. Hua Ziyang. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold as he revealed a monstrous killing intent. He instantly recognized Hua Ziyang. He did not expect Hua Ziyang to appear here and attack him directly. Rumble. Ling Xiao understood Hua Ziyang's sinister intentions. Without hesitation, he took out the flipping sky seal and swept it forward. The fierce and overbearing power seemed to be able to turn the world upside down. Ling Xiao wanted to use the flipping sky seal to blast open a passage and force his way out of the bone burial ground. Long Outyan, you caused me to lose a rock mount that day. Today, you will pay for it with your life. Hua Ziyang's voice was extremely cold as if it came from hell. The purple divine pearl collided with the flipping sky seal in an instant. At the same time, Hua Ziyang pointed his finger. The tip of his finger was crystal clear and a drop of golden blood flowed out. It contained a vast and unparalleled emperor's might that seemed to be able to penetrate everything. It directly pierced towards Ling Xiao's glabella. Emperor's finger of Tiandu. Hua Ziyang's speed was extremely fast. The killing intent in his eyes was almost tangible. He was determined to kill Ling Xiao. He seemed to have calculated everything that Ling Xiao would do. The emperor's finger of Tiandu was extremely sharp. In an instant, it was in front of Ling Xiao with the threat of death. Brother Ling Xiao, be careful. Xue Wei shouted anxiously. Then, a resolute look appeared in her eyes. The vast true meaning of reincarnation rose around her. Streaks of blood-red light escaped from her body and formed a huge blood-red rune that blocked in front of Ling Xiao. Puff! The emperor's finger of Tiandu was extremely terrifying. It was in a stalemate when it pierced the blood-red rune. In the end, the rune exploded. Shui Wei's body trembled. When the emperor's finger of Tiandu pierced into her body, it caused her to tremble violently. Her face turned extremely pale. Shui Wei. Seeing this scene, Ling Xiao's eyes instantly turned blood red. Chapter 2063. Emperor's celestial finger was the great emperor's lost skill of the Hua tribe. It contained terrifying power. Hua Xiang had paid a great price to use it. When the emperor's celestial finger pierced into Shui Wei's body, more than half of her blood essence was lost. Her face was pale and her life force became weak. Brother Ling Xiao, run. Don't worry about me. Shui Wei's voice was weak as she said to Ling Xiao anxiously. Silly girl, don't talk. Why are you so silly? These despicable bastards can't hurt me. Why do you have to do this? Ling Xiao's eyes were red and he felt like his heart was bleeding. His body trembled as he spoke. He hugged Shui Wei tightly and took out all the regeneration elixirs he had. He fed them all to Shui Wei. At the same time, a vast amount of saint energy gushed out from his body and poured into Shui Wei's body. The Emperor's celestial finger contains Supreme Emperor's aura. If Shui Wei did not have the reincarnation saint physique and her powerful bloodline, and if Ling Xiao had not used the sky-devouring secret skill to devour the Emperor's aura in Shui Wei's body in time, Shui Wei's physical body would have been completely shattered. Even so, Shui Wei was still weak. These despicable bastards. Ling Xiao, kill them. When the white dragon horse saw that Shui Wei was severely injured, its eyes turned red. However, it did not attack immediately. Instead, it brought Ling Xiao and Shui Wei out of the burial ground like a blazing lightning bolt. At this moment, the 4 battle spirits had caught up with them. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent as they reached out to grab Ling Xiao and Shui Wei. Rumble. Fatty Xiao Hei's body exploded with terrifying divine light and exuded a powerful devouring power. He activated all the strength in his body and stood behind the white dragon horse to block the attack of the 4 battle spirits. Terrifying divine light flared, and the void exploded. Wisps of chaotic mist flowed. Fatty Blackie let out a blood-curdling scream as he was sent flying. With the help of the terrifying attack power of the 4 great spirits, he was also sent flying out of the burial ground. However, at this moment, Fatty Blackie looked incomparably miserable. His chest had caved in and there were several deep bloodstains that had been left behind by the snake and eagle battle spirits. Fatty Blackie, are you alright? Fatty Xiao Hei's miserable appearance gave the white dragon horse a fright. It asked with great concern. I'm fine. These 4 damn zombies. Wait until I master my skills, I'll definitely slaughter them. Xiao Hei said gloomily. The essence of the world gushed out from his body. Chaotic chi surged, healing his wounds at a visible rate. The Kuan Pang's skin was thick, and its vitality was very strong. Naturally, its recovery ability was also very strong. Although it was attacked by the 4 fighting spirits, it was not fatal. They had finally escaped from the burial ground. However, before they could heave a sigh of relief, the surrounding crowd immediately surrounded them. Their eyes were filled with greed. Everyone, he is Long Outyen. The treasure in this area must have been snatched by him. Otherwise, the 4 battle spirits would not have chased after them. Hua Tianqiong sneered. That's right. We can't let them go. Everyone, let's kill Long Outyen and that treasure will be ours. Yang Wen also began to fan the flames. Everyone's eyes were filled with greed and killing intent. They locked onto Ling Xiao and the other 3 in the center. Long Outyen, hand over the treasure you obtained. Otherwise, no one can save you. That's right. The treasure in this area belongs to everyone. If you don't hand it over, you'll die without a burial ground. Hee, the Hall Master of the War God Temple. That's all there is to it. Hand over the flipping sky seal too. And the whereabouts of Ji Feishuan. Everyone shouted at Ling Xiao. Their eyes were cold and arrogant. Moreover, killing intent filled their bodies as if they were going to attack Ling Xiao at any time. Although Ling Xiao was the hall master of the war god temple and wielded the flipping sky seal, it was said that his combat strength was unparalleled and was not weaker than the ancient sky prides. However, everyone was confused by the fake treasure at this moment. In the center of the burial ground, the reincarnation jade annulus shot out a 9-colored divine light that was ancient and mysterious. Its aura was incomparably majestic, causing everyone outside the burial ground to be shocked. They were certain that it was the birth of a supreme treasure. Therefore, their greed at this moment even overshadowed their fear of Ling Xiao. Long Out Yen, if you surrender and hand over the treasure, we might spare your life. Hua Xiang said indifferently as he looked down at Ling Xiao with a condescending attitude. Bah! You want us to surrender? Do you think you're worthy? The white dragon horse sneered. Hua Xiang, if you surrender and become my mount, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, you'll definitely die today. Fatty Xiao He glared at Hua Xiang and said fiercely. His eyes were filled with hatred. This guy was extremely vengeful. Previously, Hua Xiang, the son of darkness, and the young monk had attacked him and even used the great emperor's decree to make him their mount. Fatty Xiao He had long remembered Hua Xiang. Fatty Blackie was even thinking of capturing Hua Ziyang as his mount to vent the anger in his heart. You're courting death. Since you're courting death, don't blame us. Hua Xiang's eyes turned cold as he said coldly. Rumble. There were more than 1,000 experts surrounding Ling Xiao and the other 3. Most of them were sage-to-be experts and were extremely powerful. At this moment, they had different expressions on their faces and their auras were surging. Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen sneered. They had already regarded Ling Xiao as a dead man. No matter how strong Ling Xiao was, how could he be a match for more than 1,000 experts? Shui Wei, are you afraid? Ling Xiao did not even look at the surrounding people as if he only had eyes for Shui Wei. He turned a deaf ear to the surrounding killing intent and asked softly. Brother Ling Xiao, I'm not afraid with you around. Shui Wei smiled gently. Although her face was pale, she had a soul-stirring beauty that could move heaven and earth and make flowers pale in comparison. Shui Wei, sit here obediently and wait for Brother Ling Xiao to avenge you. Ling Xiao placed Shui Wei on the back of the white dragon horse and patted her head. Okay. Shui Wei's lips curled into a smile as she spoke seriously. Dragon horse, protect Shui Wei. Ling Xiao said and then slowly stood up. His gaze fell on Hua Xiang, Hua Tianqiong, Yang Wen, and the rest. How, do you want to die? A thunderous voice exploded in the void. It contained a bone-chilling coldness as if it came from hell. Chapter 2064. How arrogant. He's really courting death. Does he really think he can fight against 1,000 people? Since he's courting death, let's grant his wish. Everyone scolded. Their eyes were extremely cold. The divine light on their bodies surged like the sea and spread out in a mighty manner. It gathered into a vast force and pressed down on Ling Xiao. Among the thousands of powerful figures, there were many experts at the peak of the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. There was even Hua Xiang who was comparable to a saint. With so many experts working together, it was enough to kill a saint. If it was an ordinary person, he would have collapsed under such strong pressure. Boom! Ling Xiao didn't say anything. He responded with a fist. His eyes were extremely cold, and his body was exuding a monstrous killing intent. The golden blood around him was boiling, and his battle intent was high. It was as if there were bolts of lightning lingering around him. Accompanied by an ancient and vast dragon's roar, the golden fist pressed down on the crowd. Kill him. Hua Xiang said coldly. He took the lead to attack Ling Xiao. The purple flames around him contained the great Tao. It was like a sea of fire rushing towards Ling Xiao. His attack was incomparably fierce. The runes in his palm flickered. It was as if a purple fire qilin had jumped out in an instant. Its killing intent was monstrous, ancient and mysterious. This was the purple fire qilin saint technique. It was a supreme power that Hua Xiang had mastered. It was extremely terrifying. Following Hua Xiang, Hua Tianqiong, Yang Wenhe, and the others also charged towards Ling Xiao at the same time. Beams of divine light intertwined in the void, and saint treasures fell one after another. The momentum of thousands of experts attacking together was extremely terrifying. Kacha! Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. It was as if he didn't care about the purple flames in the void at all. He crashed into it head-on. The golden fist contained terrifying power and suddenly exploded. The purple fire Qilin and Ling Xiao's fist collided. Suddenly, the void shook and exploded with a loud bang. It triggered a huge wave of divine light. The aura was extremely terrifying. Roar! Hua Xiang took a step forward. It was as if he had let out an ancient roar. The purple fire Qilin instantly split into thousands and thousands, and rushed towards Ling Xiao at the same time. Kill! Ling Xiao shouted coldly. The qi and blood around him became more and more majestic. It was as if there were millions of beams of divine light shooting out. Streams of chaotic qi intertwined with each other, and the supreme fist will of the extreme yang erupted. It was as if there were 3,000 macro worlds surrounding him. The heavenly emperor's fist had exploded. Ling Xiao battled with the 9 emperors in the thunder tribulation. He condensed this powerful punch with his supreme comprehension and strong fighting spirit. It was born from the fist of Sky Sovereign, but there were slight differences. It had completely turned into Ling Xiao's fist, allowing him to explode with terrifying power as he wished. However, the heavenly emperor's fist was too terrifying. Even with Ling Xiao's current cultivation, he could not unleash more than a few punches. It had become one of his strongest trump cards. The heavenly sovereign's fist swept across the sky, causing Hua Ziyang's expression to change. Although he was already an expert at the 3rd level of heaven treading, Ling Xiao's heavenly sovereign's fist made him feel extremely threatened. Blazing runes rose from his palm. Thousands and thousands of purple fire Qilins rushed towards Ling Xiao at the same time. At the same time, Hua Tianqiong soared into the sky, and the purple flame divine pearl appeared in his palm. Cloud runes flickered on it, causing the void to tremble violently. Then, the purple flame divine pearl shot towards Ling Xiao's vitals. Crack! The heavenly emperor's fist was unparalleled. It could crush and destroy everything. The purple fire Qilins in the void were directly shattered by Ling Xiao's fist. Then, they flew towards the purple fire divine bead. Bang! The purple fire divine bead was extremely mysterious. Although it blocked Ling Xiao's fist, it was still sent flying by Ling Xiao's fist. Ling Xiao's palm was like a blade. In an instant, he slashed out tens of thousands of blade lights. They intertwined into a huge net of blade lights. All the cloud runes were destroyed. Roar! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Suddenly, a terrifying dragon roar burst out from his mouth. It shook the 9 heavens. Behind him, there seemed to be a golden dragon that was tens of thousands of feet long. The dragon's might was vast, as if the ancient dragon emperor had come back to life. It swept across the sky and shattered the divine light that filled the sky. Powerful holy treasures shook violently and then flew out. Get out of my way! Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. He took a step forward and appeared tens of thousands of feet away. In an instant, he threw out hundreds of punches. Each of his punches was like a blazing sun. They were extremely fierce and domineering. The hundreds of figures in front of him all shook violently and were sent flying. They spat out blood. Crack! Ling Xiao pushed out his palms. The momentum around him erupted. It was as if he was pushing the sun, the moon, and the stars. 2 palm blades intertwined and slashed across the sky, turning into millions of feet-long blade lights. Everyone trembled violently and felt their scalps go numb. They hurriedly retreated. However, there were still some people who couldn't dodge in time. They were cut in half by the 2 blade lights. Blood rained down from the sky. Ling Xiao used 2 millions of feet-long blade lights to forcefully plow out 2 paths in the crowd. You all deserve to die. Ling Xiao's blood qi was monstrous. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were cold. Vast dragon's might gushed out. His aura was ancient and majestic. He was like a supreme dragon emperor. He charged and killed within the crowd, moving about unhindered, killing until everyone was wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. Practically no one was a match for him. In the end, his gaze fell on Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen. His killing intent was so substantial that it made Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen tremble. Their eyes were filled with incomparable fear. How can he be so strong? Hua Tianqiong's face was extremely ugly. His voice was trembling. Damn it! What kind of monster is this? He must die. If he doesn't die, we will die in his hands sooner or later. Yang Wen's eyes were filled with hatred. He roared in his heart. Boom! A stream of light flashed under Ling Xiao's feet. He directly used a teleportation secret technique. The void became a little blurry. In the next moment, he disappeared into the void. It was as if there was no aura left. Both Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen shuddered as they sensed a deadly threat. They immediately understood that Ling Xiao was coming for them. They didn't even think about it. They directly used their most powerful strength. Blazing divine light rose from their bodies. Their Saint Gang intertwined and erupted with their strongest defense. Kacha! Just as they were prepared, the void behind them suddenly shattered. Ling Xiao appeared behind them out of thin air like a ghost. Then, he blasted out 2 punches. The defensive divine light around Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen exploded with a loud bang, and the void rumbled. The invincible fist broke through all defenses, as if it was nothing, and directly landed on the backs of Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen. Puff! Puff! Chapter 2065. Boom! Both Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen were sent flying. Their bodies were badly mutilated, and they were defeated by Ling Xiao without even being able to withstand a single blow. 3 years ago, Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen were also defeated by Ling Xiao in the War God Temple. However, they admitted that they were only slightly weaker than Ling Xiao. More importantly, Ling Xiao had the flipping sky seal. However, in these 3 years, not only had Ling Xiao's cultivation improved by leaps and bounds, but his combat strength had also become more terrifying. Both of them felt a strong sense of defeat and despair in their hearts. Long Out Yen, you're courting death. Killing intent surged in Hua Xiang's eyes as he rushed towards Ling Xiao. Blazing divine light rose from his palm as if it had turned into a world of flames, enveloping Ling Xiao. He was shocked and angry. Thousands of experts had besieged Ling Xiao at the same time, but he had not expected the result to be like this. Ling Xiao rushed through the crowd as if he had entered a no-man's land. Wherever he went, people would be thrown off their feet, setting off a bloody storm. There were broken limbs everywhere. Those people had been scared out of their wits by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had the secret art of teleportation. As his cultivation improved, his attainment in the secret art of teleportation also became stronger. His figure was very strange, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. It was impossible for people to focus their attacks on him. Instead, they were defeated by him one by one. Now, even Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen had been defeated by Ling Xiao in a single blow. If Hua Xiang did not intervene, Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen might die in Ling Xiao's hands. Rumble. The world of flames was vast and incomparably vast, as if it was a real world. There were magnificent mountains, rivers, and surging seas. The endless flames formed the scenery of mountains, rivers, grass, trees, the sun, the moon, and stars. It contained the true meaning of the great Tao, profound and ancient. The world of flames came crashing down toward Ling Xiao like a mountain that weighed millions of tons, wanting to crush everything into dust. Bang! A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He instantly kicked out, causing the space to explode violently. His kick landed on the world of flames. It was as if he was an ancient great emperor who had created the heavens and earth, containing an unparalleled might. The world of flames trembled violently. Flames spurted out, spreading along Ling Xiao's foot and enveloping his whole body. Refine! Hua Ziyang shouted coldly. Endless flames burst out and enveloped Ling Xiao in the center. He was even dragged into the world of flames. An ancient furnace vaguely appeared in the void. Purple flames filled the air, intertwining with the power of the Great Path laws. Chaotic mist surged in the surroundings, transforming into purple runes that sealed up the surrounding void. Hua Ziyang was actually preparing to refine Ling Xiao. His purple sun Taoist fire was incomparably mysterious. It was formed from the origin of the great Tao. Even a saint could directly refine it. Even a saint treasure would instantly turn into molten iron. It was incomparably overbearing. Roar! The flames rose, causing the void to tremble violently. Amidst the endless sea of flames, there seemed to be the roar of a dragon. It was getting louder and louder, ancient and mysterious. Rumble! In an instant, an incomparably mysterious devouring vortex appeared within the endless flames and began to devour the surrounding purple sun Taoist flames. One could faintly see a figure at the center of the devouring vortex. After the endless purple sun Taoist flames were devoured, they were integrated into the figure, causing the figure's aura to become more and more terrifying. Long Out Yin. Hua Ziyang's body trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he gritted his teeth and said. He had never thought that his purple sun Taoist flames, which could even refine a saint, would not cause any harm to Ling Xiao. Instead, Ling Xiao had directly swallowed it into his stomach and turned it into a part of his nourishment. Purple sun Taoist flames? Unfortunately, it's still too little. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice was very calm. However, when Hua Ziyang heard his voice, his face turned even uglier. The killing intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. Long Out Yen, you forced me to do this. Hua Ziyang gritted his teeth and said. Terrifying saint aura filled the air around him. In an instant, it majestically soared into the sky and condensed into a terrifying storm behind him. Crack! A black lightning flashed and a golden scroll appeared in Hua Ziyang's palm. It slowly unfolded, revealing an ancient and mysterious seal character. Kill. The word, kill, was written on the scroll. Once the scroll was opened, the weather changed. The sun and the moon lost their light. Even the primal chaos mist trembled violently. A powerful killing intent locked onto everyone, causing them to tremble. Even the depths of their souls were filled with fear. Great Emperor's decree. Not good. Shui Wei, the white dragon horse and Fatty Blackie's faces changed. They could not help but exclaim. They had never thought that Hua Ziyang would have a second great emperor's decree. Moreover, it looked far more terrifying than the previous one. It was a pure killing decree that contained the supreme killing intent of a great emperor. When Ling Xiao was locked onto by the word, kill, in the void, he instantly felt his heart palpitate and his scalp tingle. The threat of death surged into his heart. This was the peerless killing intent of a great emperor of the ancients. Who could resist it? The kill decree of a great emperor of the ancients was like a soul-reaping rope. Even a saint would not be able to resist it. He could only stretch out his neck and wait for his death. At this moment, the void trembled and thick lightning intertwined in the void. The great Tao flashed and mysterious lines surged, sealing off Ling Xiao's escape route. It was as if the great Tao of the heavens and earth was rejecting Ling Xiao, causing him to fall into a disadvantageous situation. Crack! The word, kill, in the void flew towards Ling Xiao. The great emperor's decree seemed to have enveloped the heavens and earth, turning it into an endless darkness. The dense killing intent seemed to want to completely wipe out all life. Open! Ling Xiao's qi and blood surged to the sky. His eyes were filled with incomparable madness as he suddenly roared. Rumble! Flames rose around his body, and mysterious symbols interweaved. A vast and ancient aura erupted, and an ancient three-legged cauldron with two handles appeared in front of him. It looked sparkling and translucent, and it spewed out endless blazing flames. Emperor Yen Cauldron. Ling Xiao used the battling heaven skill to derive the true meaning of the Emperor Yen Cauldron. In an instant, an extremely mighty emperor's aura gushed out from the Emperor Yen Cauldron. The Emperor Yen Cauldron spun and soared into the sky, emitting endless blazing flames. It was as if it was the origin of all flames. The aura it exuded was extremely terrifying. Crack! A blazing divine light erupted as the Emperor Yen Cauldron and the Great Emperor's decree collided. Chapter 2066. Rumble. Space shattered with a loud bang, as if millions of volcanoes had exploded at the same time. Blazing divine light gushed out like a boiling sea, and huge waves surged into the sky, dyeing the world into a vast expanse of whiteness. The Flame Emperor Cauldron was emitting blazing flames that seemed to be able to burn the heavens and earth. A terrifying emperor's aura filled the air. The Flame Emperor Cauldron and the Emperor's decree collided violently in the air. Lightning flashed and the runes collided violently. The shockwaves that erupted caused everyone to tremble and their faces to turn pale. This was a collision between two extreme emperors' auras. It was the supreme power of a great emperor and it was beyond everyone's imagination. Although the Flame Emperor Cauldron was a supreme superpower that Ling Xiao had created using the heaven battling secret skill, it contained the true intent of the Flame Emperor Cauldron. It contained the Emperor's aura and it was not at a disadvantage when it collided with the Emperor's decree. Crack! In the end, the Flame Emperor Cauldron and the Emperor's decree shattered at the same time and were destroyed. As for Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang, their bodies shook violently as they flew backwards. Damn it! Is this the legendary Battle Heaven's skill? Hua Ziyang's face was pale and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He had heard that the Battle Heaven's skill of the War God Hall was the #1 secret combat skill in the universe. It could evolve all the skills in the universe and it was extremely terrifying. However, he had not expected Ling Xiao to be able to evolve the Battle Heaven's skill to such an extent that he could unleash the power of an extreme emperor weapon and break his emperor's decree. Ling Xiao's face was also slightly pale. Although he had blocked the emperor's decree's fatal blow, the Flame Emperor Cauldron had been broken. This meant that his Battle Heaven's skill had been broken by the emperor's decree and he had suffered some backlash. However, his eyes were extremely bright and resplendent. They seemed to contain a vast starry sky and were formed by billions of sword qi. They were extremely sharp. Hua Ziyang, is this all you've got? Said Ling Xiao coldly. Divine light shot out from his eyes. His battle intent rose and he threw a punch at Hua Ziyang. The chaotic energy in the sky seemed to explode all of a sudden. The dragon's roar shook the sky. Ling Xiao carried the power of heaven and earth. It was as if there were billions of thunderbolts exploding around him. In the end, it turned into an invincible fist that rumbled across the sky. Ling Xiao's speed was unbelievably fast, and his fist imprints were unstoppable. Once again, he unleashed the Heavenly Sovereign's fist, which seemed capable of shattering the heavens. Even Hua Ziyang couldn't help but turn pale. The power of the Heavenly Emperor's fist was too terrifying. Even though Hua Ziyang had broken through to the 3rd level of heaven treading, he still felt greatly threatened. In addition, Ling Xiao's physical body was extremely strong. After going through the primal chaos body refinement, the blood and qi in his body gushed out, almost tearing the sky apart. Ling Xiao, don't be too arrogant, roared Hua Ziyang. A purple divine sun seemed to fly out from his palm, emitting a dazzling divine light. It rumbled towards Ling Xiao. The surrounding people also had a ruthless look on their faces. They all knew that Ling Xiao's strength was incomparably terrifying. One by one, they unleashed their strongest strength, performing powerful saint techniques and supreme saint treasures, all of them blasting towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. In the void, streaks of blazing light gushed out like a boiling sea, covering the sky and covering the earth as they pressed down on Ling Xiao. The more people feared Ling Xiao, the more the killing intent in their hearts burned. Their eyes were extremely cold, and they couldn't wait to kill Ling Xiao immediately. Crack! A violent sound exploded in the void. Heaven and earth shook, and chaotic energy scattered in all directions. Ling Xiao's fist collided with Hua Ziyang's, and a blazing divine light wave erupted. Hua Ziyang was directly sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. At this moment, the terrifying attacks of the crowd enveloped Ling Xiao in an instant, as if they were going to blast him into smithereens. Hundreds of experts attacked at the same time, and the power was extremely terrifying. However, Ling Xiao didn't seem to dodge at all. He bore the full brunt of the divine light storm and was directly engulfed. Endless divine light raged, lightning exploded, and the void shattered. It was as if all life had been completely annihilated. Even a saint would be severely injured if he didn't die from such a terrifying attack. Is that bastard Long Outyan dead? Hua Tianqiong's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with incomparable hatred. He should be dead, right? Such a terrifying attack isn't something that a sage-to-be expert can withstand. Yang Wen said uncertainly, and there was a trace of hesitation in his eyes. The pressure that Ling Xiao gave him was simply too great. He was not sure if Ling Xiao could survive such a terrifying attack. After all, Ling Xiao had created too many miracles. Rumble. Suddenly, an incomparably terrifying vortex appeared in the divine light storm. It spewed out endless divine light, and its aura was vast and unparalleled. Everyone's attacks, and even their supreme sage treasures, were all swallowed by the terrifying vortex at the same time. Crack! A blazing lightning flashed, and Ling Xiao leaped out of the void. The chaotic aura around him rose, and he punched the air with his fists. His aura was extremely sharp. He blasted out tens of thousands of fist prints almost instantly. Each fist print was extremely terrifying, and they accurately landed on the bodies of the hundreds of experts. Boom! It was as if a blazing divine light had erupted, containing the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. The numerous experts around Ling Xiao trembled violently, and then they were abruptly sent flying. They coughed up blood incessantly, and their eyes were filled with incomparable terror. You despicable bastards, it's fine if you bully us with numbers, but how dare you launch a sneak attack? A cold voice sounded, and it exploded in the void like a thunderclap. Rumble. Fatty Hay was furious, and his face was filled with incomparable coldness. He instantly leaped into the sky, opened his mouth, and swallowed the hundreds of experts. White Dragon Horse and Fatty Hay were protecting Shui Wei, so they didn't attack. Judging from Ling Xiao's incomparably fierce attack, perhaps they didn't even need to attack to deal with these people. However, the sudden sneak attack of the hundreds of people just now shocked and angered Fatty Hay and White Dragon Horse. At this moment, they immediately went berserk. Black divine light rose from Fatty Hay's body. When he opened his mouth, it was as if a huge devouring vortex had appeared in the sky, enveloping the experts. Suddenly, the terrifying devouring power erupted, and dozens of experts who were sent flying by Ling Xiao were directly swallowed into Fatty Hay's stomach. He's. Kuanpeng. Chapter 2067. Previously, Fatty Black had turned into his human form and concealed his aura. Even Hua Xiang did not notice Fatty Black's true form. But now, Fatty Black had unleashed the Kuanpeng's terrifying divine ability. Hua Xiang immediately recognized Fatty Black. Hua Xiang hadn't expected that the terrifying rock would actually be on Ling Xiao's side and had even attacked for Ling Xiao's sake. Bang! Space shook violently as a few dozen experts were directly swallowed by the rock. Blood rained down while a monstrous baleful aura emanated from it, causing everyone to tremble. The fatty shook his body and instantly transformed into the rock's true form. Even though he was only over 30 kilometers long, his entire body was pitch black like a strange fish with a pair of wings on his back, and his aura was terrifying to the extreme. Everyone stared at the rock with disbelief in their eyes. How could this be possible? Their hearts trembled because the rock that could fight Hua Xiang, the Dark Child, and the young monk was actually on Ling Xiao's side. Ling Xiao's strength was already extremely terrifying, and he was practically on par with Hua Ziyang. It was even to the extent that he wasn't injured at all under the joint forces of everyone. Now, an extremely formidable rock had joined the battle, so how could they fight this battle? In an instant, many people had the intention to retreat. As for the temptation of treasures, they'd tossed it to the back of their minds. At this moment, they only wanted to protect their lives. A group of trash that bullies the weak and fears the strong. Come, 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 let your Lord Rock teach you how to behave. The rock laughed coldly. His gaze was extremely deep, and he seemed extremely unruly while the baleful aura around him surged. He instantly soared into the sky while the vast Devour Grand Tao erupted from him. He was swift like a bolt of lightning as he directly appeared behind the half-saints and swallowed all of them. Not only was the rock an ancient overlord with an extremely terrifying bloodline, his cultivation had even attained the 3rd level of the heaven-trampling realm. So, it wasn't difficult at all for him to deal with this group of half-saints, and it was practically like chopping vegetables. In next to no time, he'd swallowed a few dozen more experts. Ah, don't eat me, don't eat me. I was wrong. Lord Rock, I won't dare go against all of you again. Everyone, flee. The void suddenly became extremely chaotic. Everyone's eyes were filled with terror. They began to scream and flee frantically into the distance. They no longer had any fighting spirit in their hearts. At this moment, they only wanted to escape as far as possible. They had been completely frightened by the Kuanpeng. Long out Yen, you're courting death. Hua Ziyang was enraged. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. His hatred for Ling Xiao had reached its peak. He glared at Ling Xiao and leaped up in an instant. Violent divine light burst out from his body. Streaks of purple chi rose, and the great path precepts permeated the air. Finally, they turned into an extremely blazing saber and slashed toward Ling Xiao. The essence and blood around Hua Ziyang's body suddenly bloomed. A purple light filled the air, looking incomparably mysterious. It was like a whale swallowing the sea, being swallowed by the saber light. After that, the saber light became even more demonic, and with a loud bang, it slashed down towards Ling Xiao. This is the Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber. Hua Tianqiong's body trembled, and he could not help but exclaim. The Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber was a supreme divine ability of the Hua clan. It was a forbidden move. One's essence and blood would be used to summon the Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber. The saber would not be withdrawn until one's primordial spirit was completely destroyed. At this moment, Hua Ziyang actually burned half of his essence and blood at all costs to use the Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao. The Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber has appeared. Ling Xiao will definitely die. Yang Wen said coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Like Hua Tianqiong, he was the one who wanted Ling Xiao to die the most. This was because Ling Xiao had become their inner demon. If Ling Xiao did not die, their cultivation would not improve at all. The Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber's unparalleled power gave Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen hope. Heavenly Tao Reincarnation, Reverse Karma. Ling Xiao's eyes were deep and mysterious, as if there were mysterious runes hidden in them. They were as bright as the stars in the starry sky. He called out softly. His voice was incomparably ethereal, containing the power of law. At this moment, the secret arts of reincarnation and secret arts of karma seemed to have merged with Ling Xiao. A mysterious ripple radiated from Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao formed a seal with his hands and seemed to turn into a series of afterimages. Facing the incoming Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber, he did not seem to care at all. His expression was incomparably calm. His hands moved faster and faster. The secret arts of reincarnation and secret arts of karma seemed to appear in his palms. In the end, they slowly merged together. When the Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber was about to reach Ling Xiao suddenly pushed his palms out. Runes spread out from his palms and gently patted the Heavenly Tao Blood Violet Saber. Crack! The space trembled. The heavenly Tao blood-violet saber shone with dazzling light and produced a melodious and crisp sound. It instantly disappeared in front of Ling Xiao. Poo. In the next moment, there was a flash of blood-red light. The heavenly Tao blood-violet saber actually appeared from Yang Wen and Hua Tianqiong's bodies, cutting them in half at the waist. The blood-red light bloomed in the sky, illuminating everyone's gaze. Even Hua Xiang's eyes were filled with disbelief. He could not help but tremble all over. Boom! Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold. Killing intent surged around him. With a punch, a golden fist landed on Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen's bodies, directly blasting them apart. Two peerless geniuses on the level of holy sons had died at Ling Xiao's hands just like that. Long Out Yen, why you can actually divert the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber's power of karma? Hua Xiang's voice trembled. A trace of deep fear appeared in his eyes. The reason why the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber was so terrifying was because it contained a trace of the power of karma. The heavenly Tao blood-violet saber was the karmic cause, and killing was the karmic effect. The saber would not stop until it saw blood. Therefore, when the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber appeared, it would definitely take away a life. Originally, Hua Xiang had come for Ling Xiao. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to use some kind of secret art to divert the power of karma from the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber to Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen. In the end, Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen were cut into pieces by the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber and then killed by Ling Xiao with a single punch. They completely disappeared from this world. They did not even know how they died. They were extremely sullen. Chapter 2068. Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen were killed by Hua Xiang's heavenly Tao blood-violet saber. Blood rained down from the sky, filling the air with the thick stench of blood. Their Yuan spirits had been completely destroyed. It could be said that their souls had dispersed. This scene caused everyone to be stupefied. Hua Xiang's heavenly Tao blood-violet saber was a supreme forbidden technique of the Chinese. It contained the power of karma. It was rumored that a supreme expert of the Chinese had comprehended the karma of the heavenly Tao and the endless cycle of reincarnation after observing the karma of the myriad Buddha temple. It could be said that even if Hua Ziyang's opponent was a true saint, he would still die without a doubt. However, Ling Xiao had survived. Moreover, he had used some unknown method to transfer the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber to Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen, completely killing them. Hua Ziyang, hand over the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber, and I can spare your life. Ling Xiao stared at Hua Ziyang and said. His eyes were blazing, and his blood was boiling. Ling Xiao's heart was in turmoil. Although it seemed that he had used some strange method to transfer the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber to Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen, the combination of karma and reincarnation had almost drained him of all his energy. Moreover, Ling Xiao suddenly discovered that the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber contained the true meaning of the karma secret technique. Ling Xiao had already obtained an incomplete version of the karma secret technique. If he could obtain the cultivation method of the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber and extract the karma secret technique from it, he might be able to complete the karma secret technique. To Ling Xiao, this was an irresistible temptation. You want the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber? Long Out Yen, you're courting death. Hua Xiang was furious, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. The heavenly Tao blood-violet saber was a secret technique of the Chinese. Even though he was a leading figure of the younger generation of the Chinese, he had only been bestowed the heavenly Tao blood-violet saber after making countless contributions. Ling Xiao had undoubtedly touched his reverse scale. You're not willing to hand it over? Then you can die. Ling Xiao's eyes were like lightning as he emitted a terrifying aura that could devour the heavens and earth. The surrounding chaotic energy surged into his body. After Ling Xiao's body had been tempered by primal chaos, he could now devour primal chaos energy. His energy, which was about to be depleted, was quickly replenished. Crack! The flipping sky seal flew out from Ling Xiao's hand. With the power of wind and thunder, the void shook violently. The flipping sky seal was like an ancient sacred mountain, pressing down on Huaxiang. Thunder Spirit King sat cross-legged in the void, surrounded by dazzling thunderbolts. Containing the aura of thunder principal origin, he looked more and more majestic. He had completely integrated with the flipping sky seal. Even if Second Holy Master, the original device spirit of the flipping sky seal, came back, he would not be able to take control of it. Therefore, to Ling Xiao, the flipping sky seal was like a treasure that he could use at will. He did not need to consume his own strength to use the flipping sky seal to kill his enemies. Damn it! Huaxiang's expression changed. He suddenly felt a great pressure from the flipping sky seal. His face darkened. He immediately jumped up and tried to escape. However, the flipping sky seal had completely locked him in place. Bolts of dazzling thunderbolts fell down, like divine chains of order, and sealed Huaxiang's whole body. Purple Sun Pearl, break it! Huaxiang clenched his teeth and shouted. The purple bead in his hand shone brightly. In an instant, it split into 9 beads in the void. They were like 9 purple suns hanging high in the void. Then, they collided with the flipping sky seal with a loud bang. Since he could not escape, he could only fight head-on. Crack! The void rumbled and the earth shook. The collision between the flipping sky seal and the purple sun pearl gave off dazzling divine light. At the same time, Ling Xiao came down from the sky, swallowing the chaotic qi around him. Once again, he fell into the mysterious realm of chaotic body refining. He held the invincible fist print, surrounded by the 3,000 worlds, and rushed toward Huaxiang. Boom! 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 The fist print was unparalleled. Chaotic fist shadows were everywhere in the void, as if they could split the sky and the earth. They contained supreme power. Huaxiang felt his scalp go numb. Every fist print caused his body to shake violently. He felt as if he was going to disintegrate. Both of them fought to the point of madness. Their auras were extremely terrifying, causing the entire region to crumble. The stars in the surrounding Milky Way had already been completely destroyed, leaving behind a desolate starry sky that was filled with chaotic qi. However, both the flipping sky seal and Ling Xiao's heavenly emperor's fist made Huaxiang feel extremely pressured. He was completely at a disadvantage, and he felt extremely aggrieved. His strongest move, the heavenly bloodline blade, did not cause any harm to Ling Xiao. Instead, it killed Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen, making him helpless when facing Ling Xiao. Long Out Yen, you forced me to do this. The killing intent in Huaxiang's eyes surged like the ocean. He abruptly roared, and an incomparably terrifying aura exuded from his body, shattering Ling Xiao's fist imprint. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt that Huaxiang's aura had become extremely terrifying in an instant. Vast divine light gushed out. Mysterious runes flashed around Huaxiang's body. Chaotic qi filled the air above his head, and a flower of Tao slowly bloomed. In an instant, it was as if all the worlds in the universe were illuminated. A mysterious aura filled the air. The flower of Tao was extremely dazzling. It was enshrouded with auspicious qi and blazing light. A small purple person sat cross-legged on it. Although the person's face looked blurry, it was very similar to Huaxiang. After the purple person appeared, Ling Xiao immediately felt that all the hair on his body was about to explode. A fatal sense of danger surged in his heart. This is a human sovereign. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. He finally understood the source of the danger. When an expert in the 3 levels of heaven treading broke through the limit and understood himself, he would form the 3 sovereigns of heaven, earth, and earth. The difference between each level was like the difference between heaven and earth. The reason why an expert in the 3 levels of heaven treading could have battle strength comparable to a saint was because of the 3 sovereigns of heaven, earth, and earth. The human sovereign could kill, the earth sovereign could destroy, and the celestial sovereign was invincible. Huaxiang's essence, qi, and spirit merged together. He had broken through the limit and formed the human sovereign. It could cut off one's vitality, destroy one's primordial spirit, and destroy one's Tao. It was extremely terrifying. However, he could not use the human sovereign easily. Once it was damaged, he would also suffer a great backlash. He might even fall to the half-saint realm, unable to advance any further. Hua Xiang was also forced to the extreme by Ling Xiao. Otherwise, he would not have directly manifested the human sovereign. Crack. Chapter 2069. Boom. The purple venerable human sovereign was majestic and mysterious. Chaotic chi swirled around him, and his eyes seemed to contain 3,000 worlds. The two beams of purple light pierced through the void and shot toward Ling Xiao's forehead. At the same time, the purple venerable human sovereign flew up from the flower of the way and flew toward Ling Xiao. The void trembled as if the heavens and earth were trying to suppress Ling Xiao. The vast power of the heavens and earth descended, shaking everything into dust. Break. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. The flipping sky seal instantly blocked in front of him. At the same time, divine light rose around him, and his chi and blood filled the air. He used the sky-swallowing secret skill to devour the two beams of light. Buzz! However, the void trembled slightly. The two beams of light didn't seem to exist in this space. They easily pierced through the flipping sky seal. Even the sky-swallowing secret skill had no effect on them. They were extremely fast and shot directly between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. Puff! There was a flash of blood. Ling Xiao's forehead actually split open. The two beams of light entered Ling Xiao's consciousness and slashed toward his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao could feel that if his primordial spirit was hit by the two beams of light, he would be severely injured even if he didn't die. At this moment, the wordless heavenly book buzzed and a mysterious power descended. It was gentle and mysterious. It protected Ling Xiao's primordial spirit and formed a rune boundary. The two beams of light crashed into the wordless heavenly book and disappeared without a trace. Bang! However, before Ling Xiao could heave a sigh of relief, the purple human sovereign charged towards him and kicked him in the air. At the same time, he threw out a punch, causing the void to explode. Endless divine light gushed out. Although the purple venerable human sovereign looked small, his aura was extremely fierce. He was like a supreme emperor, crushing everything and invincible. Crack! Ling Xiao punched out and collided with the purple venerable human sovereign. However, he felt a chill in his arm. It was as if a heavy force had entered his body through his arm. His body shook violently and he was instantly sent flying. It was an extremely strange force. It seemed to ignore defense and could crush and shatter everything. Boom! 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 The purple venerable human sovereign threw out over 100 punches in an instant. His strength was terrifying. Ling Xiao felt a great threat. His body shook violently as he coughed out blood. His face turned pale. Samsara! Ling Xiao bellowed. Terrifying divine light surged around him, forming a mysterious light of reincarnation behind him. It was like a passageway to hell. It immediately enveloped the Renhuang in purple, trying to drag him into hell. This was an unparalleled mystic skill that Ling Xiao had comprehended from the secret skill of reincarnation. Even though he had to pay a huge price for it, he could only give it his all in the face of the horrifying purple human master. Wang! The light of reincarnation enveloped the purple human sovereign. Rings of mysterious light rippled and began to strip away the purple human sovereign's power. Instantly, the purple human sovereign's light dimmed. Puff! Hua Ziyang shuddered, his eyes filled with disbelief as he coughed up blood. He was so scared that his soul almost left his body. He hastily called back the purple human. If purple human sovereign was injured, he would have to pay a terrible price. Hua Ziyang, I'll send you to the afterlife. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. Even though his face was pale, he did not let go of this opportunity. The light of reincarnation surrounded him as he charged towards Hua Ziyang. Rumble! Although Hua Ziyang's purple human sovereign posed a great threat to Ling Xiao, it was neutralized by Ling Xiao in the end. This made Hua Ziyang feel a sense of despair. How could he continue to fight? After taking a few blows, Hua Ziyang was at a disadvantage. It seemed like he would be defeated by Ling Xiao at any time. At this moment, the giant Peng's aura was vast and unparalleled, exuding the ferocious aura of an ancient overlord. Apart from a small number who managed to escape, the majority of the thousands of experts were devoured by him, becoming his meal. Outside the burial ground, blood rained down and the smell of blood was extremely thick. It was like a battlefield of Azura. Hua Ziyang had lost his will to fight. Seeing that the giant Peng was about to join forces with Ling Xiao after devouring so many experts, Hua Ziyang immediately wanted to retreat. Long Out Yen, the Chinese, and the Heavenly Curse sect will remember this debt of blood. When the Heavenly Chosen Convention begins, it will be the day you die. Hua Ziyang said ruthlessly to Ling Xiao. The killing intent in his eyes was almost tangible. After taking a blow from Ling Xiao, he turned around and was about to escape. His speed was extremely fast. Like a purple flame, he appeared tens of thousands of feet away in an instant. Hua Ziyang had completely given up. He wanted to escape without a fight. You want to leave? Leave the purple blood blade behind. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. Naturally, he would not let Hua Ziyang go so easily. Together with the giant Peng, he charged towards Hua Ziyang. Little brat, come, have a taste of your grandfather's Pegasus meteor fist. The white dragon horse neighed and blocked Hua Ziyang's path like a flash of white lightning. It bared its white teeth and kicked towards Hua Ziyang's face with its huge hooves. Hua Ziyang was so angry that his nose was about to become crooked. It was fine that he could not defeat Ling Xiao, but he did not expect Ling Xiao's mount to be so arrogant. How dare it kick his face with its hooves? This was simply a blatant humiliation. Die! Hua Ziyang did not slow down. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The purple sun heavenly pearl smashed towards the white dragon horse's head. At the same time, his fingertips glowed. Once again, he unleashed the Heavenly Emperor's finger and shot it towards Xuewei. He could see that Xuewei was very important to Ling Xiao. If he could kill Xuewei, he would be able to vent his anger. Hua Ziyang, how dare you? Ling Xiao's face changed. The flipping sky seal flew across the sky and suppressed Hua Ziyang. At the same time, he threw out a punch to block the Heavenly Emperor's finger. Brother Ling Xiao, don't worry. He can't hurt me. Xuewei, who was sitting cross-legged on the white dragon horse, suddenly opened her eyes. She looked indifferent and revealed a faint smile. Boom! A mysterious reincarnation light bloomed around Xuewei. The aura around her was incomparably mysterious. Even the void was distorted. When the Heavenly Emperor's finger touched the reincarnation light, it instantly shattered. Chapter 2070. Rumble. The reincarnation sword essence was extremely terrifying. It contained the power to annihilate everything. It shot towards Hua Ziyang's vital points as if it wanted to turn him into a porcupine. Although Hua Ziyang's emperor's finger was extremely sharp, it was instantly annihilated after colliding with the reincarnation sword essence. Streaks of reincarnation sword radiance fell, forcing Hua Ziyang to dodge in a sorry state. Bang! At this moment, the white dragon horse's hoof kicked Hua Ziyang's face. It was as if he was hit by a meteor. Hua Ziyang could not help but cry out in pain as he was sent flying. His handsome face was flattened by the white dragon horse's kick. His face was badly mutilated and he looked extremely miserable. Hee, you think you can escape from my Pegasus meteor punch? Dream on. The white dragon horse retreated after its attack and said proudly. I'm going to kill you. Hua Ziyang roared. Blood chi filled his body and purple divine light surged. Although the injuries on his face were healed in an instant, he was extremely furious. It was as if he had been greatly humiliated. He leaped forward and threw a punch at the white dragon horse. However, Ling Xiao had already arrived and kicked out in the air. There was an explosion in the void. Crack! The void trembled as Ling Xiao kicked Hua Ziyang away. At the same time, the Kuan Peng also arrived. It opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow Hua Ziyang. Hua Ziyang was at a disadvantage. He was so angry that he shouted, "Long out Yen, I'll remember you. One day, I'll tear you into pieces." Hua Ziyang roared. Purple runes rose from his body and an ancient talisman appeared in his palm. In an instant, the talisman burned in the void and then enveloped his body. He was about to escape this place. He was extremely fearful of Ling Xiao and did not dare to stay any longer. He immediately took out a powerful talisman and teleported to escape. Rumble. However, at this moment, the void suddenly trembled violently and divine light gushed out. Something seemed to have shattered at the center of the burial ground, spewing out vast amounts of chaotic qi. A primordial and ancient aura spread out as if it was the beginning of the world. It contained a supreme power that filled the world. Is that the reincarnation Jade Annulus? Ling Xiao's body trembled, and his eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. He saw the reincarnation Jade Annulus rise and shatter in the void. It was filled with endless chaotic qi, as if an ancient and vast world had appeared. It was a passageway leading to a mysterious world. Hua Ziyang, who was about to teleport away, suffered a tragic fate. The surrounding space turbulence surged, and that mysterious power directly sucked him into that mysterious world, instantly disappearing without a trace. Ling Xiao, is that the passageway to the primal chaos ancient land? The white dragon horse was extremely excited. If I'm not mistaken, that should be the passageway to the primal chaos ancient land. I really didn't expect that Hua Ziyang would be so lucky to be sucked into the primal chaos ancient land. The Kuan Peng's body flashed, and he turned back into the image of little black fatty. With the appearance of the primal chaos ancient land, the Heavenly Choice Convention is about to officially begin. This is destined to be a grand event that will sweep across the heavens and myriad worlds. Hundreds of millions of sky prides will compete for supremacy. Who will be the true heavenly choice? Ling Xiao's eyes were burning as he stared at the chaotic qi. At this moment, he no longer had the time to care about Hua Ziyang. It didn't matter whether Hua Ziyang was dead or alive after entering the primal chaos ancient land. Compared to the Heavenly Choice Convention, Hua Ziyang's life and death were no longer important. Brother Ling Xiao, I still feel that the heavenly choice will be you. Shui Wei smiled. Her eyes were incomparably clear and pure. Her white dress fluttered in the wind, and her temperament was pure and pure, giving off a pure and beautiful feeling. Shui Wei, this guy isn't as handsome as me, and his cultivation isn't as high as mine. The heavenly choice should be me, okay? The white dragon horse snorted in dissatisfaction. But you can't beat brother Ling Xiao. Shui Wei covered her mouth and laughed. Her words made the white dragon horse roll its eyes. The passageway to the primal chaos ancient land hasn't been completely formed yet, but it should be in the next 2 to 3 days. When the passageway is completely stabilized, the Heavenly Choice Convention will officially begin. Little Black Fatty stared at the center of the burial ground and said. The void there trembled, and the chi of primal chaos filled the air. A vast world vaguely appeared, but it also emitted a mysterious spacetime fluctuation, as if it was separated by endless space. Even little Black Fatty was a little jealous of Hua Ziyang. This guy's luck was really too good. He had used the transfer holy talisman to escape, and just happened to encounter the passageway of the primal chaos ancient land. He was directly sucked into the primal chaos ancient land. If Ling Xiao and the rest wanted to enter the primal chaos ancient land, they would have to wait until the passageway was completely stabilized. With the appearance of the passageway of the primal chaos ancient land, the universe will soon become a land of trouble. Let's go. Let's find a place to rest for a while. When the passageway is stabilized, we will immediately kill our way into the primal chaos ancient land. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply as he said slowly. Shui Wei, the white dragon horse, and little black fatty nodded and followed Ling Zhao, flying into the depths of the universe. The news of the passageway of the primal chaos ancient land appearing in the burial ground did not spread like wildfire in the divine world as Ling Zhao had expected. After all, most of the experts in the burial ground were swallowed by the Kuan Peng during the battle between Ling Zhao and Hua Ziyang. A small number of experts were scared out of their wits and fled. However, the news of Ling Zhao killing Hua Ziyang, Hua Tianqiong, and Yang Wen was spread out, causing the entire divine world to be shaken. The Hua race and Heavenly Curse sect were even more furious. They even issued a kill order and sent out Saint Realm experts. They did not hesitate to risk their lives and entered the depths of the universe to search for Ling Zhao's whereabouts. What? Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen were defeated by Long Outyen. It's fine even if they were killed by Long Outyen, but how could Hua Ziyang be killed by Ling Zhao? That's right. Hua Ziyang is the #1 genius of the Hua race. Rumor has it that he's already at the 3rd stage of heaven treading. He's comparable to those ancient prodigies. I'm afraid this news isn't true, right? I also think it's impossible. No matter how monstrous Long Outyen is, can he be stronger than an ancient prodigy? Something big is going to happen. Whether Hua Ziyang died in Long Outyen's hands or not, the Hua race will definitely not let Long Outyen off for their dignity. I just don't know how the War God Temple will deal with this. What else can they do? The War God Temple has been on the decline for the past few years. Even if they oppose it, they won't be able to stop the Hua race and Heavenly Curse sect. The divine world was in an uproar. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Some were gloating, some were sympathetic, and some were indifferent. The battle in the universe had caused Ling Zhao's reputation to soar. He actually had a reputation that was not inferior to the son of the Celestial Emperor. It shook the entire divine world. After all, even the Emperor had not killed a 3rd stage of heaven treading. Chapter 2071. Both the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect were enraged. The Daluo territory was the largest core region in the divine world. It was the residence of many monarch clans and ancient clans. The Chinese were the first to react. They immediately sent several saints and old ancestors to the Heavenly River. Anyone who can kill Long Outyen will be rewarded with 10,000 origin pills. Anyone who can kill Long Outyen will be able to exchange his head for a peerless monarch technique of the Chinese. Among the Chinese, an old man with purple hair and cold eyes issued a bounty. His qi was so terrifying that the surrounding void was trembling violently, as if there were stars falling from the sky one after another. He was Hua Xiong, the great elder of the Chinese. He had already reached the peak of the great saint realm. Hua Tianqiong was his grandson, and Hua Ziyang was the son of the patriarch. The Chinese had confirmed that Hua Tianqiong's soul lamp was extinguished. He had died in Ling Zhao's hands. As for Hua Ziyang, his soul lamp was flickering. Even the Chinese could not confirm whether he was dead or alive. However, Hua Ziyang was the successor of the Chinese. He had the bloodline of the great emperor. He was the leader of the younger generation of the Chinese. Hua Tianqiong was second only to Hua Ziyang. How could the Chinese not be furious when one of them died and the other went missing because of Ling Zhao? Long Outyen deserves to die. Anyone who can provide us with Long Outyen's whereabouts will be rewarded with a Supreme Saint technique. Anyone who can kill Long Outyen will be rewarded with a Supreme Saint treasure. A powerful expert of the Heavenly Curse sect also spoke. He was a skinny middle-aged man in a black robe. There seemed to be a black vortex in his eyes. Runes filled his eyes and exuded a powerful curse power. He was Qin Kuan, the deputy sect leader of the Heavenly Curse sect. He was also a great saint expert. Yang Wen was not only the saint of the Heavenly Curse sect, but also his true disciple. He had spent a lot of effort to cultivate his successor. However, he had died in Ling Zhao's hands. He was furious and issued a bounty as well. Supreme Monarch Technique. Supreme Saint Treasure. Long Out Yin is worth so much. Countless experts in the divine world trembled with excitement after learning about the bounty offered by the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect. Their eyes were blazing with passion, and they couldn't wait to kill Ling Xiao and claim the bounty. No one had expected the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect to be so generous. The Supreme Emperor art was a peerless divine ability created by the Great Emperor. It contained the secrets of the Heavenly Tao and possessed supreme killing power. If one could cultivate the Supreme Emperor art, it could even allow one to challenge those at a higher level. Although supreme quality saint treasures were not as good as extreme Wei Emperor weapons, they were still supreme treasures. For example, Hua Xiang's Xiang Pearl and Ling Xiao's Cyclic Sky Seal were both supreme quality saint treasures, second only to extreme Wei Emperor weapons. They were treasures that only saint rulers were qualified to use. It's one thing for you to have supreme emperor techniques and supreme saint treasures, but do you really think you can kill Long Out Yin? After all, even Hua Xiang, who was at the third level of heaven trampling, died at his hands. Even if we can't kill Long Ao Tian, if we can find his whereabouts, we can get 10,000 origin pills and a supreme holy technique. It's enough for us to cultivate to the 9th revolution half-saint realm. That's right. It's Long Out Yin's fault for offending someone he shouldn't have offended. I heard that the Hua clan's great elder Hua Xiong and the Heavenly Curse sect's deputy master Chen Kun have come out of seclusion and led experts to hunt Long Out Yin down. This time, Long Out Yin is dead for sure. Everyone discussed animatedly and began to rush to the Heavenly River, hoping to get a share of the loot. Even if they couldn't kill Ling Xiao, it would be a great gain if they could find his whereabouts. At the same time, the War God Temple also made a statement. The white-clothed war god directly announced to the entire divine world that anyone who dared to attack Long Out Yin would be the War God Temple's mortal enemy. No one had expected the War God Temple to be so tough. Even in the face of the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect, they still showed an attitude of protecting Long Out Yin. Some people were afraid of the War God Temple and began to hesitate, but most people were still attracted by the conditions offered by the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect. They all rushed to the Heavenly River. The entire divine world began to be turbulent. At this time, Ling Xiao, Shui Wei, Fatty Blackie, and the White Dragon Horse were outside the boneyard. They dug a cave residence in a broken star and cultivated while waiting for the Chaos Ancient Land to open. Ling Xiao and Shui Wei cultivated in the cave residence while Fatty Blackie and the White Dragon Horse were responsible for keeping watch and protecting their hair. They also checked the situation in the Heavenly River. 3 days passed. The boneyard was practically completely enveloped by the mist of chaos, and it emanated a mysterious glow. Auspicious energy rose into the air, and the mysterious world grew clearer and clearer. Moreover, the passageway that led to the ancient chaotic grounds grew more and more stable. Ling Xiao, the situation is not good. These days, more and more people have arrived in the Heavenly River as if they are searching for something. I'm afraid it won't be long before they arrive at the boneyard. Once they arrive, the news about the Chaos Ancient Land will be exposed. After 3 days, Fatty Blackie and the White Dragon Horse returned from patrolling outside. The White Dragon Horse said worriedly, "You guessed right. We caught a guy and interrogated him. We learned that the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect have indeed issued a bounty for you. They want all the experts in the divine world to hunt you down." Fatty Blackie said. "The Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect. You're really like a haunting ghost. Don't worry about them for now. The passage to the Chaos Ancient Land is about to be stabilized. When the time comes, we will enter the Chaos Ancient Land directly. No matter how strong the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect are, they won't be able to chase after us." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a cold light as he said slowly, "I'm afraid that they will find this place before the Chaos Ancient Land opens. When the time comes, it will be a small matter if the news about the Chaos Ancient Land is exposed. However, if they set up a trap at the entrance of the passage, we will be in big trouble." The White Dragon Horse was still very worried. Whether it was the Hua clan or the Heavenly Curse sect, their foundations were extremely terrifying. They had unimaginable means. If they wanted to kill someone, even a sage would not be able to survive. If that's the case, we can only kill our way in. Ling Xiao said with a sharp glint in his eyes. Shui Wei had consumed the regeneration elixir. After a few days of cultivation, her injuries had already healed. She pondered for a moment and said, "Brother Ling Xiao, maybe I have a way to enter the Chaos Ancient Land." "Oh. What is it?" Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse's eyes lit up as they asked hurriedly. After all, the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect had a strong foundation. It would be best if they did not face them head-on. Moreover, Ling Xiao was confident that he would obtain enough fortune and opportunity in the Chosen One meeting. Once he proved his Tao and became a sage, he would not have to be so restrained even when facing the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect. The Way is the Reincarnation Secret Technique. Chapter 2072. The Secret Reincarnation Technique? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with surprise. That's right. It's the secret reincarnation technique. Big brother Ling Xiao, the heavenly Tao is the cycle of reincarnation. Everything has its own path of reincarnation. The secret reincarnation technique is the ultimate truth behind this. The Chaos Ancient Land also has its own reincarnation cycle. It opens once every epoch and holds a Heaven's Choice convention, so every opening counts as a reincarnation cycle. The passage to the Chaos Ancient Land has existed before. As long as I use the secret reincarnation technique to find the pattern and obtain the coordinates of the Chaos Ancient Land, we can directly travel through the void and enter the Chaos Ancient Land. Shui Wei explained. Using the secret reincarnation technique to open the Chaos Ancient Land? Doesn't that mean the Chaos Ancient Land will open in advance and the Heaven's Choice Convention will officially begin? Such an act that defies the heavenly Tao, I'm afraid there will be a great backlash, right? Fatty Xiao He said slowly. There will be some backlash. However, with my means, I can still endure it. At most, I'll lose some of my lifespan and life origin. Shui Wei smiled faintly. No. This will affect you too much. I don't need you to open the Chaos Ancient Land in advance. The passage should be completely stabilized in the next 2 days. At that time, we'll kill our way in. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply as he spoke decisively. He understood the meaning behind Shui Wei's words. It was indeed possible to use the Samsara secret technique to open the chaotic ancient land, but Shui Wei would definitely suffer an unimaginable backlash and heavy injuries. This was not something Ling Xiao wanted to see. Big brother Ling Xiao, believe me, I'll be fine. Shui Wei persuaded patiently. No. Shui Wei, it's not that I don't believe you, but the implications of this matter are too great. The Heaven's Choice Convention represents the reincarnation cycle of an epoch. You're going to withstand the backlash of an epoch's reincarnation with your own strength. I don't agree. Ling Xiao said directly. Shui Wei's eyes revealed a trace of emotion. She knew Ling Xiao was doing this for her own good, but the more it was so, the more she wanted to do something for him. However, seeing how stubborn Ling Xiao was, Shui Wei could only smile wryly and nod. However, a strange light flashed in her eyes, as if she had made a decision. Ha ha ha. I've finally found it. This land of bones was the battlefield of that battle. Suddenly, a surprised voice came from outside. What is that? Could it be, the passage to the primal chaos ancient land? A cry of surprise rang out, and even his breathing became incomparably rapid. 2 black-robed young men appeared outside the burial ground. Both of them were at the peak of the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Their auras were extremely powerful. At this moment, their faces were filled with excitement. However, when they saw the bone burial ground, the blazing chaotic mist, and the mysterious and vast world, their hearts were instantly filled with shock. They had never imagined that the passageway to the primal chaos ancient land would actually appear in the heavenly river. Not good. Someone still found this place and killed them. Fatty Xiaohei and the white dragon horse's faces darkened. Cold killing intent flashed in their eyes. The boneyard was incomparably mysterious. It was shrouded in chaotic laws and isolated from the chaotic aura. Even if someone had escaped from here before, it would be very difficult to find the boneyard again. Otherwise, 3 days would be enough for many people to come here. However, what Ling Xiao and the rest did not expect was that someone would still come to the boneyard. This meant that the passageway to the primal chaos ancient land was about to be exposed. Boom! Fatty Xiaohei and the white dragon horse turned into 2 streaks of black and white lightning. In an instant, they soared into the sky and charged towards the 2 black-robed young men. The 2 of them were extremely decisive. Although they knew that this place might have been exposed, they still wanted to buy as much time as possible so that they could completely kill the 2 black-robed young men. Ling Xiao did not stop them. After all, these 2 black-robed young men must have come to find him. Ling Xiao naturally would not have any sympathy for such people who were hostile towards him. Who are you? When Fatty Xiaohei and the white dragon horse charged out, the 2 black-robed young men immediately noticed them. Their faces changed, and they revealed an extremely solemn expression. The people who will send you to see Hua Tianqiong. The white dragon horse let out a strange cry and kicked one of the black-robed young men with its hoof. Its aura was extremely terrifying, and it was like a mountain crashing into the sky. Fatty Xiaohei did not say a word. He opened his big mouth, and chaotic aura rose from his mouth. A vast devouring vortex erupted, and directly swallowed the black-robed young man. Oh no! They are Long Outyen's companions. Long Outyen is really here. Run, we must spread the news. The 2 black-robed young men's faces changed drastically. They immediately recognized the white dragon horse and Fatty Xiaohei. They turned around and wanted to escape. Crack! The speed of the white dragon horse was extremely fast. Almost as soon as the black-robed young man flew up, the horse's hoof directly kicked his head. Suddenly, the black-robed young man's vision turned black, and he almost fell from the void. Whoosh! A golden divine light shot out from the white dragon horse. Its speed was extremely fast, and it directly penetrated the black-robed young man's forehead, shooting him down from the void. The other black-robed young man screamed miserably. There was no way for him to escape from Fatty Xiaohei's terrifying devouring power. In an instant, he was swallowed by Fatty Xiaohei. Boom! After Fatty Xiaohei swallowed the black-robed young man, he threw a punch out from the void. The black-robed young man who had been pierced by the white dragon horse directly exploded with a punch. Blood mist filled the void, and then Fatty Xiaohei swallowed it all into his stomach. Almost in the blink of an eye, 2 9 Revolution half-saint experts died at the hands of Fatty Xiaohei and white dragon horse. However, although the 2 black-robed young men were killed, Fatty Xiaohei and white dragon horse did not have a trace of excitement on their faces. Instead, they looked quite dignified. Ling Xiao, before these 2 died, they still managed to spread the news about this place. Although the burial ground is difficult to find, since they were able to enter, they probably won't be able to escape for long. Quickly make a decision. The white dragon horse's face revealed a rare serious expression. If they did not think of a way, when many experts came, including the sages of the Chinese and Heavenly Curse sect, they would not be able to escape even if they had wings. Boom! At this moment, a mysterious light bloomed in the void. Suddenly, rays of 9-colored divine light shot up into the sky, forming a 9-colored divine ring that contained an incomparably mysterious samsara fluctuation. Chapter 2073. Shui Wei, why are you doing this? Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. His eyes showed that he was deeply moved. Shui Wei had chosen to use the secret reincarnation technique to open the passageway to the chaotic ancient land. Although she did not ask for Ling Xiao's permission, he had no reason to blame her. Everything Shui Wei had done was for his sake. Rumble. Blazing light rose. Shui Wei's white dress fluttered in the wind. She had an extraordinary temperament as she sat cross-legged in the void. She was surrounded by auspicious chi and a 9-colored divine ring. She looked extremely noble. She formed a seal with her hands, and a mysterious light of reincarnation radiated from her back. 2 golden runes flew out from her palms. They looked very complicated, and each stroke outlined the mysteries of the world. They shone brightly in the void. Shui Wei pushed her arms and the 9-colored divine ring and the 2 golden runes flew towards the burial ground. Kacha! The burial ground emitted a vast and mysterious spatial fluctuation. The mysterious world seemed to become more and more real. The passageway, which was originally illusory, started to solidify at a speed visible to the naked eye. Cough cough, in the void, Shui Wei's body suddenly trembled and her face became extremely pale. It was as if a vast and mysterious power was depriving her of her vitality and lifespan, causing her to age. Ling Xiao could not help but feel his heart ache when he saw this. His eyes were filled with worry. However, he could not interrupt Shui Wei in her current state. Even though he knew that Shui Wei was suffering from a great backlash, he could only watch silently. Ling Xiao, a beauty's love is important. This girl has suffered too much for you. Don't let her down. The white dragon horse sighed softly. Hee, the mixed-haired horse has finally said something reliable. I also feel that this girl is not bad. You have to cherish her. Fatty Blackie chuckled. For the first time, he did not oppose the white dragon horse. Instead, he agreed. Ling Xiao was silent. His heart trembled slightly. Kacha! Bolts of lightning intertwined in the void as a boundless heavenly might spread out. It was as though the heavenly Tao was enraged by Shui Wei's actions of forcefully opening up the primal chaos ancient land. Shui Wei's face grew paler and paler, her body trembling slightly. Her life source and lifespan were rapidly being stripped away, and she began to emit an old and lethargic aura. However, her eyes grew brighter and brighter. She stared at the sky and pursed her lips. Her stubbornness made one's heart ache. Reincarnation of the heavenly Tao, return to the origin. Open. The 9-colored divine halo around Shui Wei instantly flew towards the mysterious passageway of the burial ground like a flood. A faint and mysterious voice came from her mouth. It was like a chant, grand and resounding. Boom! The bone burial ground shook violently. The vast world in the center seemed to slowly emerge, spewing out vast and blazing 9-colored divine light. It was as if the heavens and the earth had split apart. Endless celestial flowers of the great path bloomed. Golden lotuses filled the void. An ancient and mysterious aura filled the air. The vast chaotic aura formed an incomparably huge passageway. Brother Ling Xiao, the passageway to the chaotic ancient land has opened. Let's go. Shui Wei's voice became extremely weak. Even her floating figure was swaying slightly, as if she was going to fall at any moment. Ling Xiao's heart ached. He hurriedly rushed over to pick Shui Wei up. Shui Wei's face was extremely pale. Her originally black hair had become dull and had lost its luster. Her aura was extremely weak. She was surrounded by an aura of death. She was like an old woman who was nearing the end of her lifespan. However, the smile on her face was still very beautiful. Shui Wei, don't worry. Even if I have to search the entire chaotic ancient land, I will find a supreme treasure that can replenish your life source for you. Ling Xiao said with heartache. Shui Wei smiled and nodded. Let's go. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He flew towards the vast chaotic passageway. Fatty Hay and the white dragon horse followed closely behind him. Where do you think you're going? At this moment, a murderous voice exploded in the void. Rumble. The chaotic aura around the burial ground dispersed. A huge hand that covered the sky stretched across the void and grabbed at Ling Xiao. Vaguely, an old man with a head of purple hair seemed to appear in the chaos. His eyes were cold and his aura was terrifying. At the same time, a black divine light spread out majestically like a black river. A skinny middle-aged man in a black robe stood on it. Runes fell towards Ling Xiao, containing a mysterious curse power. Ling Xiao suddenly felt his body sink. It was as if his limbs had turned stiff. The mysterious curse power drilled into his body. The sages of the Chinese tribe and the heavenly curse sect. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He recognized the two people almost instantly. These two people were not only sages, but also great sage realm experts. Their forces were terrifying and monstrous. They were far from being comparable to sages. Even Ling Xiao felt a deep sense of powerlessness in front of them. They had heard the news and came looking for him. The moment they saw that Ling Xiao wanted to enter the chaotic ancient land, they decisively attacked. "Open up!" Ling Xiao roared angrily. The sky-devouring secret skill exploded. It was as if a vast sea had appeared around him, trying to devour all the curse power that had entered his body. At the same time, the flipping sky seal bloomed with a blazing light. It was like a black immemorial sacred mountain. It flew towards the huge hand in the void. Rumble. The sky-devouring divine sea exploded. It could devour all kinds of strange energy in the world. Even the curse power was quickly devoured by the sky-devouring divine sea. Ling Xiao, Fatty Blackie, and the white dragon horse felt their bodies lighten. They had been released from the restraints. These two old things are too shameless. The white dragon horse was so angry that it cried out. It glared at the two figures with hatred. Instantly, it carried Ling Xiao and Crepe Myrtle and flew into the chaotic ancient land. Boom! The flipping sky seal and the huge hand exploded behind them. There was an explosion of blazing divine light. The momentum was shocking. The huge hand slapped the flipping sky seal away. It was still reaching out to grab Ling Xiao. Fatty Blackie's body was surrounded by a black divine light. In an instant, he revealed his original body. A terrifying devouring vortex spread out around him. He suddenly tried to devour the huge hand. Crack! The devouring vortex exploded at the same time. Endless divine light rose in the void. It swept away all the chaotic gas in the surroundings, turning it into a vast expanse of white. Chapter 2074. The fatty transformed into his Kuanping form. The fish scales on his body were like dragon scales, exuding a vast pressure. His wings were like the clouds in the sky, and his body was millions of feet long. He was like a floating continent, extremely terrifying. However, the power of that palm was too terrifying. It could almost suppress the heavens and sweep the universe. It contained a wave that could destroy everything. It directly shattered the devouring great path around the Kuanpeng's body and sent him flying. Oh no, these two old things are both supreme saints. We are no match for them at all. Run! The fatty spat out a few mouthfuls of blood and shouted. Although his cultivation had reached the third level of the heaven-treading realm and had broken the limit once, his combat strength was only comparable to an ordinary saint. He couldn't compete with a supreme saint at all. Rumble. In the void, endless divine light rose. The two figures with monstrous auras appeared in the burial ground. One was an old man with purple hair and the other was a skinny middle-aged man in a black robe. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. It was Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan. Kuanpeng. I'm lacking a mount. You're the one. Hua Xiong stared at the Kuanpeng and said in an extremely domineering voice. Bah! I'm the Kuanpeng Great Emperor who dominated the 9 heavens and 10 earths. How dare you ask me to be your mount? You're not even worthy of being my mount. The fatty cursed. This guy had been with the white dragon horse for a few days and had some of its temperament. He only felt that cursing like this was exceptionally satisfying. The corner of Ling Xiao's mouth twitched slightly. In time, this fatty would probably be the second white dragon horse. He couldn't help but glare at the white dragon horse. Why are you glaring at me? I didn't teach him. This kid is self-taught and has some of my style. Not bad, not bad. The white dragon horse had an innocent look on its face as it laughed proudly. What time is it now? You still have time to talk here. You guys go first. I'll stop them. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He instantly leaped up and the flipping sky seal exploded with an unparalleled sharpness. It was like a blazing sun that blasted towards Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan. You're Long Outyan. You're like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Murderous intent flashed in Hua Xiong's eyes. He could feel that Ling Xiao was extremely powerful. Furthermore, he felt as if he had merged with the flipping sky seal. This kind of power was enough to kill an ordinary saint. With such a person in the War God Temple, he was a great threat to the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect. They had to kill him before he grew. Boom! Hua Xiong threw a punch at Ling Xiao. His punch was imbued with the will of the great path of destruction. It was as if his punch was capable of destroying all spells. All spells would have been destroyed by his punch. On the other hand, black light flashed around Qin Kuan's body, and he was about to shift 10,000 feet into the void in an instant. Black divine chains of order flew out from his palm, surrounded by mysterious runes, and entangled toward Shui Wei, the white dragon horse, and Fatty Blackie. Open! Ling Xiao roared, and the violent power around him exploded completely, as if a vast ocean had been set off. He used the heavenly battle skill, and the blazing flames rose. The Yen Emperor Cauldron rose in front of him, blocking in front of Qin Kuan. He actually wanted to stop two great saint powerhouses with his own strength. This guy is too arrogant. Don't worry, if you die, I'll avenge you. Fatty Blackie shouted, and then plunged into the passageway of the chaotic ancient land without looking back. Damn Fatty, you're too disloyal. Kid, I'm really leaving. I'll protect Shui Wei well, but you better not die. The white dragon horse cursed, and then quickly said to Ling Xiao. Then, it also plunged into the passageway of the chaotic ancient land with Shui Wei. That's, the passageway of the chaotic ancient land? At this moment, Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan also noticed the chaotic ancient land, and their faces were filled with astonishment. We can't let him enter the chaotic ancient land. Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan's eyes were cold, and they were filled with murderous intent. They exploded with terrifying power. Rumble. The flipping sky seal was sent flying by Hua Xiong's punch, and the flame emperor cauldron that Ling Xiao had conjured with the fighting heavenly skill was also bound by Qin Kuan's divine chains of order. Runes invaded the cauldron, and it instantly shattered. Ling Xiao felt two terrifying forces coming at him, and he couldn't help but tremble. He coughed out blood and staggered back. However, when he saw that the white dragon horse, Shui Wei, and Fatty Blackie had all entered the chaotic ancient land, Ling Xiao was relieved. Old man, as long as I'm alive, I'll destroy the Chinese and the heavenly curse sect. Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold and filled with murderous intent. Swoosh! He instantly used the shifting secret skill and wanted to enter the passageway. After all, even the flipping sky seal and the fighting heavenly skill combined were no match for Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan. He knew that if he continued to fight, he would definitely die. You're courting death. Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and their desire to kill Ling Xiao grew stronger. They could vaguely feel that if they let Ling Xiao go today, there would be endless trouble in the future. Kacha! A purplish-red saber radiance filled Hua Xiong's palm, and it contained a power that could shatter everything. It instantly slashed towards Ling Xiao, as though the world had been split in half. Heavenly Dao Purple Blood Saber. Hua Xiong cultivated the Destruction Great Dao, and using the Destruction Great Dao to activate the Heavenly Dao Purple Blood Saber was 100 times stronger than Hua Xiang's. He was determined to kill Ling Xiao. Heavenly Curse Destruction, Infinite Rebirth, Boundary formed. Qin Kuan chanted softly, and runes flew out from his body. The void shook violently, and instantly formed a vast boundary around the passageway of the chaotic ancient land, enveloping Ling Xiao. Heavenly Curse Boundary Destruction. The supreme curse of the Heavenly Curse sect contains supreme power, and it formed a boundary with the curse. In order to prevent Ling Xiao from entering the chaotic ancient land, Chen Kun directly used the Heavenly Curse Boundary Destruction. In an instant, Ling Xiao was in an extremely dangerous situation. Karma. Reincarnation. Ling Xiao suddenly closed his eyes, and he fell into an extremely mysterious state. The more dangerous the situation was, the calmer his heart was, and the more he could see a glimmer of hope in the endless murderous intent. He raised his hands, and the karma secret skill and reincarnation secret skill slowly flowed. In the end, he slowly closed his palms, and the karma force and reincarnation force fused together, forming a misty ripple in front of him. Kacha. The heavenly Tao purple blood saber slashed down from the sky, directly striking the ripple. Chapter 2075. Rumble. The water rippled, causing the surrounding space to tremble violently. The violet blade of light was extremely sharp, blooming before Ling Xiao's eyes, clashing with the ripples of water. The fusion of karma and samsara force was extremely tough. Even though the heavenly way blood violet blade was extremely sharp, it was still unable to shatter it. The two seemed to form an extremely delicate balance. What a powerful heavenly way blood violet blade! Ling Xiao was shocked. Only now did he realize that Hua Xiang was nowhere near as powerful as the heavenly way blood violet blade. If it were not for the fact that he had fused the secret techniques of karma and samsara, he probably would not have been able to dodge the attack at all. A gleam of light flashed through Hua Xiong's eyes. He could actually sense the dense power of karma from Ling Xiao. He could not help but feel shocked. How did Long Outyen know the secret techniques of karma from the myriad Buddha temple? Break through! Hua Xiong bellowed out furiously. Violent destructive force erupted around him, causing the heavenly way blood violet blade's presence to swell by several times. Like the straw that broke the camel's back, it directly destroyed the ripples of water. Spurt! With a flash of blood-red light, Ling Xiao's forehead immediately split open. The violet blade of light became extremely resplendent, directly slashing towards the soul in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao could sense that his soul had been frozen. He was unable to move at all. All he could do was watch as the violet blade of light drew closer and closer. At this moment, the wordless heavenly scripture trembled slightly and immediately shone brightly. An ancient and mysterious devouring vortex appeared, directly devouring the heavenly way blood violet blade. However, even though Ling Xiao had managed to escape the fatal strike, he was still heavily injured. His body trembled violently, as if he was about to collapse at any moment. What's that treasure? A gleam of light flashed through Hua Xiong's eyes. He became slightly surprised. He had unleashed the greatest power of the heavenly way blood violet blade, but he had never thought that it would still be devoured by some strange treasure in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Long Outyen, surrender yourself, or don't blame us for killing you. Chen Kun said with a cold look in his eyes. A monstrous baleful aura spread out from his body and locked onto Ling Xiao. The All Heavens Curse boundary he had cast had already imprisoned Ling Xiao. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation and battle prowess, it was impossible for him to break through the All Heavens Curse boundary. You two old dogs, I'll remember you. But with just this little trick, you want me to surrender without a fight? In your dreams. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold, and an incomparably terrifying aura instantly erupted from his body. Crack! A moon-white disc appeared in his hand, giving off a translucent light. It was like a bright full moon, overflowing with light and radiating with a mysterious fluctuation of laws. Open! Ling Xiao roared. The disc in his hand cut open his palm and began to devour his essence and blood. In an instant, it turned into a blood moon and shot towards the passage of the primal chaos ancient land. This was the good fortune jade disc, the supreme treasure of the great void emperor. Ling Xiao only had a fragment of it, and this was the first time he had used it. Uncle Su had once told him that the good fortune jade disc contained supreme power and was the embodiment of the heavenly way. He could not use it unless his cultivation had reached the saint realm. Moreover, he had to use his essence and blood as a guide and consume his vitality. However, at this moment, Ling Xiao, who was in a desperate situation, still chose to use the fragment of the good fortune jade disc. Crack! The good fortune jade disc soared into the void, giving off a blazing light that seemed to be able to devour everything. When it came into contact with the All Heavens curse boundary, the incomparably powerful curse boundary shattered instantly. Ling Xiao was like a blazing bolt of lightning as he used the teleportation secret technique and shot towards the primal chaos ancient land. You're courting death. Hua Xiong and Qin Kun were both shocked and furious. They did not expect Ling Xiao to be able to counterattack and break through the All Heavens curse boundary. Boom! Both of them leaped up and launched their most terrifying attacks at Ling Xiao. They were like two blazing bolts of lightning as they shot towards Ling Xiao. The full force attack of the two supreme sages after they were enraged was extremely terrifying. The blazing divine light exploded the void, and endless chaotic turbulence surged as if everything would be completely annihilated. Boom! Ling Xiao's face was extremely pale, but his eyes were unprecedentedly bright. He knew that as long as he could block this fatal attack, he would be able to escape into the primal chaos ancient land. Otherwise, he would definitely die. A violent aura erupted from his body as the 9 Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets flew out and formed a vast primal chaos boundary, blocking behind him. At the same time, the flipping sky seal shone brightly as it soared into the sky like a mountain, forming a second line of defense behind him. Blazing flames rose between his arms as the Yen Emperor Cauldron evolved from the battle heavenly skill rose up and formed a third line of defense. In the end, Ling Xiao still felt that it was not safe. He used the heaven-devouring secret technique and formed a vast heaven-devouring divine sea around him, devouring Zhou Tian's chaotic energy to form a fourth line of defense. After all, Hua Xiong and Qin Kun were two supreme sages. Ling Xiao did not dare to let his guard down. As he moved rapidly towards the passage of the primal chaos ancient land, he set up 4 powerful defensive measures to resist the attacks of the two supreme sages. Crack! 2 blazing divine light blasted on the Heavenly Way primal chaos tablets. Instantly, lightning flashed and chaotic energy exploded. Although the 9 Heavenly Way primal chaos tablets were very strong, they were still instantly blown away by the two supreme sages. Hua Xiong and Qin Kun did not slow down and clashed with the flipping sky seal again. Although the flipping sky seal was a supreme holy treasure and was activated by the Thunder Spirit King, it still could not stop the two supreme sages. After a moment of stalemate, it was blown away again. Then, the Yen Emperor Cauldron exploded as well. The 2 blazing divine light blasted on the heaven-devouring divine sea around Ling Xiao. Crack! The heaven-devouring divine sea exploded. Ling Xiao's body shook violently and cracks appeared all over his body. Although his physical body was very strong, he was still on the verge of collapse in the face of the attacks of the two supreme sages. Puff! Ling Xiao coughed up a mouthful of blood as his body exploded. His body turned into a bloody mist as he entered the passageway leading to the ancient land of primal chaos. Then, he disappeared without a trace. Is he really dead? Looking at the primal chaos ancient land in front of him, Hua Xiong's face was filled with uncertainty. It's hard to say. But even if he is not dead, I'm afraid he is only left with his primordial spirit. He is nothing to worry about. Moreover, the primal chaos ancient land is full of dangers. He may soon become a meal in the stomach of the other races. Qin Kun said slowly. Let's hope so. Hua Xiong nodded. Chapter 2076. The passageway to the chaotic ancient land had appeared. News came from the Heavenly River that the passageway to the chaotic ancient land had been found in the depths of the Heavenly River. The passageway had been completely stabilized, and one could enter the chaotic ancient land at any time. This also meant that the Heavenly Choice meeting had officially begun. The entire divine world was in an uproar. Countless experts cheered, eager to give it a try. They were incomparably excited and rushed towards the Heavenly River. the Heavenly Choice Meeting was the #1 event in the heavens. Legend had it that it contained the secrets to becoming an emperor, and there were countless great opportunities. At the end of every era, the heavens and earth would be in turmoil, and the heavenly Tao would be in chaos. The chaotic ancient land would appear in the heavens and myriad worlds, and a showdown between peerless geniuses would unfold. It was rumored that the chosen one of each Heavenly Choice Meeting had already proven his Tao and become an emperor, dominating the heavens and creating an era. Even if he hadn't proven his Tao and become an emperor, he had become an overlord, and could create a sacred ground or an immortal divine kingdom. In the heavens and myriad worlds, billions of geniuses would compete with each other for the title of the chosen one. It was an Azura battlefield, and also a graveyard. Any genius who had the ambition to reach the peak of martial arts and had the ambition to be invincible would not give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Have you heard? Lord Tianzi once fought 3 saint-level pirates on the coast of the East Sea, and finally killed them all. What? Those were saint-level pirates. Even in the immortal sacred grounds, they were important figures. They died just like that. That's right. Lord Tianzi's brilliance is too great. I feel that the chosen one this time is Lord Tianzi. Don't you see that the names are very similar? He, among the geniuses of the heavens and myriad worlds, I also believe that Lord Tianzi is the chosen one. After all, Lord Tianzi is the son of the heavenly emperor. In addition to Lord Tianzi, Zhou Panlong, Jiang Luer, and other ancient geniuses are also extremely powerful. TSK, I used to feel that the saints of the various sacred grounds were the strongest geniuses, but now it seems that there is still a huge gap between them and these ancient geniuses. During this period of time, because of the appearance of the chaotic ancient land in the heavenly river, countless people were in heated discussions. Countless experts crossed the heaven domain and took the void teleportation array to the Daluo territory and entered the universe Milky Way. In addition to the geniuses of the 12 immortal sacred grounds, some of the hidden geniuses of the ancient clans and even the geniuses of the monarch clans appeared in the divine world and rushed towards the universe Milky Way. At the same time, the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect announced to the divine world that Ling Shao had been killed by the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect. They also announced that anyone who dared to provoke the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect would suffer the same fate as Ling Shao. Long Outyan was killed by the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect. What a pity! Long Outyan was extremely talented, and might even be on par with those ancient geniuses. But now, he has fallen before he could even mature. He's too arrogant. Do you think the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect are so easy to mess with? He killed Hua Tianqiong, Yang Wen, and Hua Ziyang. Of course, the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect won't let him go. I heard that Hua Xiong and Qin Kuan, 2 great sages, attacked together and killed Ling Shao. I wonder how the War God Temple will react. After all, Long Outyan is the #1 genius of the War God Temple. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call him their spiritual leader. Everyone discussed animatedly. Some felt that it was a pity, some were gloating, and some were indifferent. However, they only discussed for a short while before they shifted their attention back to the Heaven's Choice Meeting. War God Temple. It's impossible for little junior brother to die in the hands of the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect. The soul lamp he left behind hasn't extinguished yet. Everyone was in low spirits. Lu Wenjun glanced at everyone and said decisively, "Don't worry." But little martial uncle's soul lamp has become extremely weak. It seems like it will extinguish at any moment. I'm afraid that even if little junior brother Long isn't dead, he's not in a good condition right now. The master of Een Hall sighed softly. We also believe that little junior brother won't die. He's a person with great luck. Moreover, he's also the hope and spiritual leader of our War God Temple. He's destined to reach the peak. The Void Pierce stage and Chong He were also full of confidence in Ling Shao. Everyone, there's no need to guess anymore. I can feel that little junior brother is indeed not dead. Moreover, he has already entered the chaotic ancient land. The Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect are lying to themselves. They want to suppress the morale of the war god temple. Everyone, don't fall into their trap. Lu Bai, who was sitting at the head of the table, said calmly as he looked at everyone. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard Lu Bai's words. If that was really the case, then the war god temple was indeed blessed by the heavens. Ha ha ha. I knew that little junior brother would be fine. I believe that little junior brother will definitely become the chosen one in this Heaven's Choice meeting. Lu Wenjing laughed heartily. He was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Now that little martial uncle has entered the chaotic ancient land, our war god temple should also send disciples to the chaotic ancient land. Firstly, it's to inquire about little martial uncle's whereabouts. Secondly, it's to obtain opportunities and fortune in the Heaven's Choice meeting. Lu Bai said indifferently. I agree. Although little martial uncle has entered the chaotic ancient land, he's alone and needs reinforcements. This time, I think we should send An Shang, Wu Xiong, and Gao Yang. With the three of them working together, they should be able to protect themselves even against some ancient prodigies. Lu Wenjing nodded and said. The Heaven's Choice meeting was fraught with danger. If too many people entered, it wouldn't be a good thing. If they died in the Heaven's Choice meeting, even the immortal sacred grounds would suffer great losses. Therefore, the war god temple only needed to send a few genius experts to reduce the number of casualties and obtain as many resources and fortune as possible. Lu Bai and the other temple masters agreed to Lu Wenjing's suggestion. A great sage supreme elder of the war god temple would personally lead the team to the heavenly river and enter the chaotic ancient land to participate in the Heaven's Choice meeting. In the heavenly river, blazing divine light rose and the great Tao immortal flowers bloomed. A vast and ancient world vaguely appeared in front of everyone. That was the chaotic ancient land. One by one, the geniuses were transported from various parts of the divine world into the heavenly river. Like a dense mass of meteors, they shot into the chaotic ancient land one after another. Outside the chaotic ancient land, there were more than a dozen figures with terrifying auras. Each of them sat cross-legged in the void, guarding the passageway to prevent anyone from destroying it. These figures were from the 12 immortal sacred grounds. They were all supreme experts of the Sage Realm and even the Great Sage Realm. Their strength was incomparably terrifying. Their divine senses intertwined and constantly scanned the figures flying into the heavenly river, monitoring their every move. The remnants of the demon race were incomparably cunning and crafty. If the remnants of the demon race destroyed the passageway to the chaotic ancient land, it would be a huge joke. Therefore, these figures didn't relax in the slightest and their auras were extremely sharp. Chapter 2077. Devil World. In a forbidden space of the Dark Devil sect, the void was shaking. Severed limbs were everywhere, and a rain of blood was falling down. A thick smell of blood filled the air, as if this place was an Azura hell. Submit or die. An incomparably cold voice resounded. It contained a monstrous killing intent and killing intent. A black-robed youth with black hair wildly fluttered in the wind. His body seemed to be soaked in blood. A monstrous killing intent filled the air. He stood between the heavens and earth. His entire body was filled with a terrifying strength. He was like a supreme devil emperor that controlled the 8 desolates and swept through the heavens. He grabbed a woman's throat with one hand and lifted her up forcefully. The woman was wearing a red dress. Her appearance was peerlessly beautiful. Her snow-white skin was exposed. She looked incomparably alluring. Her entire body emitted a myriad of flirtatious feelings. The woman in the red dress exuded a kind of charm. It was a kind of temperament that could make men go crazy. At this moment, her face was flushed and her eyes were filled with tears, making people feel pity for her. However, the black-robed youth's face was incomparably cold. It was as if he wasn't affected at all. I submit. The woman in red could feel the indifference and killing intent in the black-robed youth's eyes. He didn't have the slightest bit of tenderness for the fairer sex. It was as if he would immediately tear her apart if she dared to say no. The ground was littered with severed limbs. She could already foresee her fate. Very good. You have made the right choice. The black-robed youth's eyes were still cold. The boundless killing intent around his body slowly converged. He put down the woman in red. Ling Xiao, I really don't know what kind of person you are. You are only an 8th revolution half-saint. You can sweep away all the saints and saintesses of my dark devil sect. Is the dark saint body really so terrifying? The woman in the red dress looked at Ling Xiao and heaved a sigh of relief. Her eyes revealed a look of respect and fear. The black-robed youth was Dark Ling Xiao. He was the current saint son of the Dark Devil sect. Dark Ling Xiao had been accepted as a personal disciple of Seoul Empyrean Great Sage. His cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds in the Dark Devil sect in a short span of 10 years. He had broken through to the 8th revolution half-sage realm. Moreover, he had become the holy son of the Dark Devil sect. This time, in order to select a junior sect master, the Dark Demon sect had placed all the saint sons and saintesses in this forbidden land of darkness to fight. It was like raising bugs. Only the final victor had the qualifications to become the junior sect master. The red-dressed woman was Yu Meng, the daughter of the Dark Devil sect's hierarch Yu Luo Sha. She was also an ambitious person. As the eldest senior sister of the Dark Devil sect, her cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint. She was even about to break through the first limit and break through to the 3rd level of heaven treading. She was extremely powerful. She naturally wanted to become the young cult master. However, dozens of holy sons and holy daughters with cultivation of 7th revolution half-saint and above had been torn apart by Dark Ling Xiao. Even she had been defeated by Dark Ling Xiao. Her heart was full of frustration. Who am I? Of course I'm a man. As for whether I'm powerful or not, do you want to try? Ling Xiao stretched out 2 fingers, raised Yu Meng's chin, and smiled coldly. Ling Xiao, I'm the hierarch's daughter. Do you dare? Yu Meng's long eyelashes flickered. Her big watery eyes were like silk, revealing a myriad of amorous feelings. Her chest rose and fell, which seemed to be somewhat turbulent. She looked at Dark Ling Xiao provocatively and said, Why wouldn't I dare? Even if the hierarch is in front of me, I dare to do it. Yu Meng, since you've delivered yourself to me, don't blame me for being rude. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. A black flame spread out from his fingertip. It instantly circled around Yu Meng's body, burning all her clothes to ashes. Yu Meng's flawless body appeared in front of Ling Xiao, full of temptation and charm that could make people crazy. Ah, you're shameless! Yu Meng screamed. Her face suddenly turned red. She hurriedly covered her body and stared at Dark Ling Xiao angrily. Although she usually showed a myriad of amorous feelings and seductive feelings, it was just her means. It was the first time she exposed her body in front of a man. The shameless ones are still below. Dark Ling Xiao smiled coldly. He tore off his clothes, revealing a strong and vigorous body. His bronze body was full of explosive power. He suddenly pushed Yu Meng to the ground. Soon, the sound of panting and moaning intertwined. In this forbidden area filled with the smell of blood, the 2 bodies intertwined, filling the air with boundless lust. After a day and a night, Dark Ling Xiao stood up refreshed and let Yu Meng dress him, tie his hair, and buckle his belt. Yu Meng's face was flushed. Her skin was white and rosy, and her eyes were full of satisfaction and shyness. Ha ha ha, good, very good. My good disciple, I didn't expect you to be so simple and crude. You don't know how to be tender to a woman at all. But I like it. From now on, you'll be the young hierarch of my Dark Devil sect. At this moment, a hearty and bold laughter rang out in the void. Crack! The void suddenly exploded, and 2 figures appeared in the void. A burly man in black armor with his hair fluttering wildly laughed. His aura was so terrifying that it caused the surrounding sky to tremble violently. It was extremely wild. Beside him stood a mature woman in a long black dress. Her face was incomparably beautiful, without a single flaw. Her temperament was dignified and generous, graceful and luxurious. However, her figure was incomparably hot, revealing a myriad of flirtatious expressions that would make any man go crazy just by looking at her. The two temperaments on her body merged into one, making her look even more mysterious. Her face was somewhat similar to Yu Meng-er's. "Old man, can you be more shameless? Your disciple is doing business here, and you're secretly watching from the side?" Dark Ling Zhao's forehead was filled with black lines. He glared at the burly man unhappily. The burly man was naturally Dark Ling Zhao's master. He was the great Saint Hun Tian from back then, and the current Saint King Hun Tian. As Hun Tian's cultivation broke through to the Saint King realm, Dark Ling Zhao's status in the Dark Devil sect naturally rose. "Mother." When Yu Meng-er saw the woman in the black dress, she hugged Dark Ling Zhao's arm and called out shyly. The woman in the black dress was the hierarch of the Dark Devil sect, Yu Luosha. Yu Luosha stared at Dark Ling Zhao. Her expression was calm as if no one could read her thoughts. However, her gaze made Dark Ling Zhao's hair stand. "Hierarch, I didn't force Meng-er. She insisted on that." Chapter 2078. Darkness Ling Zhao felt a little guilty. He didn't know if Yu Luosha heard what he just said. It had to be known that Yu Luosha had the title of a poisonous scorpion beauty in the devil world. She was vicious and merciless. Who knew how many people had died in her hands? Although Darkness Ling Zhao was not afraid of anything, he still had a guilty conscience after doing her daughter in front of her. "Ling Zhao, you have the saint physique of darkness. You are the hope of my Dark Devil sect. But I still have to remind you that before you are strong enough, don't say or do anything you shouldn't do," Yu Luosha said calmly. Her voice was pleasant and melodious. Dark Ling Zhao raised his eyebrows. He could tell that Yu Luosha was trying to teach him a lesson. The pride in his heart was instantly aroused. He stared at Yu Luosha and said with a blazing gaze, "Thank you for your teachings, sect master. I will remember this. But if I'm strong enough, does it mean that I can make the sect leader my woman without any problems?" Yu Meng-er and Hun Tian's expressions changed when they heard Darkness Ling Zhao's words. Yu Meng-er stared at Ling Zhao with resentment. She gritted her teeth in anger. She extended 2 fingers to pinch the flesh on Ling Zhao's waist. But she found that Ling Zhao's body was as hard as iron. She was so tired that her fingers hurt, but she couldn't pinch it. Hun Tian knew Yu Luosha's nature very well. Those who dared to speak to Yu Luosha like this in the past had all died. Even their souls had been roasted by the 9 underworld's fire for billions of years. He was afraid that Yu Luosha would get angry and kill his proud disciple. "Sect master, Ling Zhao is young and frivolous." He spoke without thinking and offended sect master. "Please don't blame him." Hun Tian smiled bitterly. Then, he glared at Ling Zhao. This brat was too bold. He even dared to tease Yu Luosha. Yu Luosha didn't get angry. Her eyes became deeper and deeper. She was expressionless. No one could tell what she was thinking. She stared at Darkness Ling Zhao for a moment and said indifferently, "My devil world respects the strong. As long as you are stronger than me, what's wrong with making me your woman? If you can become a supreme great emperor who dominates the heavens, you can choose any woman you want from the heavens. I don't want the women of the myriad worlds. I only want the sect leader." Dark Ling Zhao laughed coldly. He did not hide the blazing look in his eyes. He appeared extremely arrogant and unruly. "Then we'll talk about it after you become a divine king." Yu Luosha glanced at Ling Zhao indifferently. Her body glowed brightly as she slowly disappeared into the void. The soul-sacred king involuntarily sighed in relief when he saw Yu Luosha leave. He looked at Ling Zhao unhappily and said, "You bastard, you only know how to cause trouble for me. Don't think that just because you have the sacred body of darkness, the leader can't do anything to you. If the leader goes crazy, no one can stop him. Hee, don't the old man have you? You are wise and powerful, and your battle prowess is unparalleled. I am just relying on you. Dark Ling Xiao said with a smile. Get lost. Let me tell you, don't think that you can live peacefully after becoming the young sect leader. I have received news that the passageway to the primal chaos ancient land has appeared. Hundreds of millions of heavenly prides of the devil race are preparing to head to the primal chaos ancient land to participate in the heavenly selection meeting. The princes of the devil world are the leaders of the devil race. They are gathering at the Mulberry Sky Mountain. You will lead the disciples of the Dark Devil sect and follow me to the Mulberry Sky Mountain. The Soul Sacred King said with a serious expression. Primal Chaos Ancient Land? Heavenly Selection Meeting? Dark Ling Xiao could not help but be shocked. A strange look appeared in his eyes. Speaking of which, he and Ling Xiao had not seen each other for more than 10 years. However, both of them could sense each other's situation. Ling Xiao's cultivation was also at the 8th Revolution Half-Saint realm. Perhaps they could meet again in the Primal Chaos Ancient Land. The Primal Chaos Ancient Land was not only a place of fortune, but also an Azura battlefield. Hundreds of millions of heavenly prides would fight for supremacy. It would be incomparably tragic. If one wanted to obtain a great opportunity, great fortune, or even become the heaven's chosen child, one would have to go through endless trials and tribulations. Old man, why do I have to follow the princes and follow their orders? If those princes provoke me, can I kill them? Dark Ling Xiao sneered. He was the one who could not stand being restrained the most. In the Dark Devil sect, even before the final trial, countless disciples of the Dark Devil sect had acted pretentious in front of him and were taught a lesson by him. Now, he was naturally unwilling to listen to the orders of the princes. There were great emperors in the devil world. Those imperial princes were extremely noble and powerful. Moreover, they were proficient in supreme emperor techniques and even had emperor's possessions to protect themselves. They were far from what ordinary people could contend with. Naturally, they were also extremely powerful and stood by their words. This is the order of the Devil Emperor. Our Dark Devil sect has no choice but to obey. However, if those princes provoke you, feel free to attack. Our Dark Devil sect can withstand this pressure. If you encounter those little bastards of the Radiant Devil sect, feel free to kill them. It's best if you kill them all. The Soul Sacred King sneered. A trace of ferocious light flashed in his eyes. Hee, don't worry. I still remember the enmity of that old man from the Radiant Devil sect. This time, I will first collect some interest from the disciples of the Radiant Devil sect. Dark Ling Xiao said with a cold expression. Ling Xiao, you are so powerful. This time, I will also participate in the heavenly selection meeting. When the time comes, you have to protect me well. Yu Meng's face was full of admiration. She kept hugging Ling Xiao's shoulders and rubbing against his chest. Yu Meng, don't be coquettish here. You are my woman. Naturally, no one dares to touch you. Dark Ling Xiao smiled proudly and hugged Yu Meng in his arms. Yu Meng seemed to have been completely subdued by Ling Xiao. Her face was full of happiness. Little bastard, stop being so lovey-dovey here. Let's go. The Soul Sacred King shook his head. He felt a headache coming on and urged Ling Xiao. Soon, under the leadership of the Soul Sacred King, Dark Ling Xiao, Yu Meng, Zhu Ganglai and a few disciples of the Dark Devil sect flew towards the Mulberry Sky Mountain. The appearance of the chaotic ancient land had caused the entire devil world to boil. In addition to the devil world, the demon world, the sorcerer world, the spiritual world, the alchemy world, the nether world. In all the worlds, traces of the chaotic ancient land appeared one after another. It was as if a vast heavenly might had descended, causing the heavenly law to become even more chaotic. The supreme talents of each world came out one after another. Each of them was full of fighting spirit. They were extremely excited and expectant. They entered the chaotic ancient land one after another, wanting to compete for the supreme title of the heavenly selection child. In the chaotic ancient land, only experts below the sage realm could enter. Some of the old monsters were even willing to cut off their own cultivation so that their cultivation would fall below the sage realm in order to enter the chaotic ancient land. When the heavenly selection meeting began, a storm of aura shrouded all the worlds. Chapter 2079. This was a mysterious and vast sea region. The surface of the sea looked very calm. The waves rippled with chaotic colors, and the surroundings were shrouded in a thick chaotic fog. From time to time, huge strange birds would sweep across the chaotic fog and fly into the sky. The sky was dark, and there was a blurry sun hanging high in the sky, shedding extremely weak light. In this world, it was as if chaos was the eternal light. There was no color, and it was extremely monotonous. At this moment, a young figure drifted over from the surface of the sea that was shrouded in chaotic mist. He was dressed in white, and his figure was slender and heroic. However, his face was extremely pale right now. His entire body was covered in web-like cracks, as if he would shatter at any moment. Streaks of chaotic light radiated from his body, and the weak energy kept his body from collapsing. However, his aura was very weak, and he was like a living dead. He was about to lose all signs of life. Countless white bones floated around him. They were the bones of all kinds of living beings. They were so densely packed that they seemed to cover half of the sea. It made one's scalp tingle. It was extremely eerie. Boom! Suddenly, the calm surface of the sea exploded. A huge shark hundreds of feet long, with extremely sharp scales and blood-red eyes, suddenly opened its mouth and tried to swallow the young man in white. The shark's aura was extremely terrifying. It was as if it was the overlord of this sea region. It could sense that this young man in white had something very important to it. Therefore, even though the surroundings were covered in white bones, it still chose to attack. Crack! Just as the shark was about to reach the young man in white, a blazing bolt of lightning shot up. The young man in white was surrounded by chaotic aura. Chaotic lightning intertwined and instantly enveloped the shark. The shark did not seem to be able to fight back at all. In an instant, its life force was devoured by the endless chaotic aura. It turned into a set of crystalline white bones and landed around the young man in white, becoming a part of the endless white bones. Just like that, the young man in white floated in the chaotic Star Island domain for an unknown period of time. In the sky and in the sea, countless beasts wanted to eat him, but in the end, their vitality was wiped out by the chaotic light around him. They were completely devoured by him. The young man in white's aura became more and more stable. Streaks of chaotic light spread out and enveloped him. The chaotic energy was being devoured by his body, and the speed at which it was being devoured was getting faster and faster. The young man in white was like a bottomless pit, and he did not reject any chaotic energy that came his way. The cracks on his body gradually disappeared, and his life force gradually stabilized. Moreover, it was slowly strengthening. Finally, one day, his body began to undergo an incomparably bizarre change. Crack! Bolts of lightning intertwined with each other. The lightning radiance was incomparably gorgeous. Chaotic energy continuously surged into his body, causing his aura to skyrocket. His body was sparkling and translucent. One could vaguely see his bones that were shining with golden light, his meridians that were like dragons, and his blood that was as vast as the ocean. His black hair danced in the wind and was suffused with a mysterious light. A mysterious nine-colored light emerged from his body and rippled out in circles, pushing away the surrounding seawater and forming a vacuum boundary. Wind and thunder rumbled around his body, and blazing flames rose. Amidst the mist of chaos, 3,000 great worlds were vaguely revealed. His forehead began to shine as if a mysterious soul was about to charge out, and it rippled with the light of samsara. The divine sea in his dantian surged as the vast power of laws rose up. It vaguely fused with the way of the heavens, and it contained an illusory concept of destiny. In the end, black and white light rose up around him, and it seemed to form the image of a Tai Chi diagram. It hovered above him, making him seem like the embodiment of the way of the heavens. At that moment, the young man in white's aura became extremely obscure, as if he had severed all karma. As he breathed, he spat out chaotic energy. At the same time, an extremely mysterious scene appeared behind him. At that moment, it was as if the four auras of chaos, samsara, destiny, and karma had formed an extremely perfect balance on the young man in white. Crack! Above the chaotic sea, a cold wind suddenly howled and thunder rumbled. Blazing lightning fell from the heavens, containing a ripple of power that could destroy everything. Huge waves surged and crashed into the sky, causing the originally calm sea surface to become turbulent in an instant. If someone were above the sea right now, they would be able to see that there seemed to be a tornado in the center of the sea that connected the heavens and the earth. It was wrapped in mysterious nine-colored light, wreaking havoc in the sea. It was extremely violent. The young man in white was in the center of the tornado. Rumble. The young man in white suddenly opened his eyes, and a mysterious light shot out from his eyes. It was extremely scorching, dignified, and mysterious. The mysterious aura on his body disappeared without a trace in an instant, as if it could not sense the source of the aura. The raging lightning in the void dissipated unwillingly. The sea immediately returned to its calm state. I'm not dead. This is the chaotic ancient land. The young man in white slowly sat up. The light in his eyes slowly receded, becoming extremely calm and deep. The young man in white was Ling Xiao. In the battle against Hua Xiong and Chen Kun, Ling Xiao had used everything he had, even going as far as to use the fortune jade disc to devour most of his essence blood. However, he had still forcefully endured a full-powered attack from Hua Xiong and Chen Kun before entering the passageway. Ling Xiao's injuries were extremely severe, so severe that he had fainted the moment he entered the passageway. He had only woken up now. Although he was heavily injured, he had still managed to make it to the chaotic ancient land. My injuries are still too severe. If it weren't for the epiphany earlier, it probably wouldn't have been so easy to wake up. After Ling Xiao checked his condition, he couldn't help but laugh bitterly. His physical injuries had already healed, but his soul was dim. He had used up all his saint force, and his foundation had been heavily damaged. Even his mental strength had been greatly depleted. Ling Xiao had taken the full blow of Hua Xiong and Chen Kun. Even if he was extremely powerful, he was on the verge of collapse. The self-healing ability of his body and the worsening injuries in his body had reached a balance, causing him to fall into a coma. Chapter 2080. Chaos as my body, destiny as my Tao, karma as my heart, and reincarnation as my soul. Is this my future Tao? Ling Xiao's eyes were bright and resplendent as he thought to himself as he came to a realization. When he had fainted earlier, Ling Xiao had vaguely sensed that the primal chaos secret technique, the fate secret technique, the karma secret technique, and the samsara secret technique had fused together in an instant. They had formed a perfect balance in his body, reversing his state of life and death. That fusion had even caused a huge change in the chaotic Star Island domain. It was as if the heavenly Tao was furious and wanted to completely wipe out that fusion power. However, that momentary fusion had allowed Ling Xiao's body to completely recover. He even felt that if he could maintain it for a little longer, his injuries might be completely healed. However, this short period of fusion was an unparalleled opportunity for Ling Xiao. It allowed him to see the path ahead of him and the foundation of his Tao. Using the chaos secret technique to refine my body, using the destiny secret technique to refine my chi, using the karma secret technique to refine my heart, and using the reincarnation secret technique to refine my soul. It turns out that these four secret techniques are the foundation of the heavens and the origin of creation. They are also the most suitable path for me. That momentary fusion was probably because I was in a moment of life and death. I don't know why the four secret techniques fused together. However, I only have the complete reincarnation secret technique, but the destiny and karma secret techniques are incomplete. Although I didn't obtain the chaos secret technique, I comprehended the chaos body refining technique from the celestial Thearch's fist. Therefore, the 4 secret techniques only fused for an instant. If I can obtain the complete set of the 4 secret techniques, I might be able to use these 4 secret techniques as my foundation and reach the unprecedented 4 sages realm. Ling Zhao's eyes were burning as if he had seen through the fog and saw the true path. Chaos, destiny, karma, and reincarnation. These 4 secret techniques were the strongest secret techniques in the wordless book. The Chaos Heavenly Sect obtained the Chaos Secret Technique and suppressed the divine world for billions of years, becoming the leader of all sections. The Destiny Shrine obtained the Destiny Secret Technique and divined the heavens and observed all the worlds. The Myriad Buddha Temple obtained the Karma Secret Technique and formed a supreme sect with billions of believers. The Reincarnation Shrine obtained the Reincarnation Secret Technique and solved the mystery of life and death, allowing them to reincarnate and be reborn. Among the 12 immortal holy lands, the 4 immortal holy lands were publicly acknowledged as the strongest holy lands. As for the other 8 holy lands, they were slightly weaker. In the end, it was because of the 4 great secret techniques. The ancient lands of primal chaos are incomparably mysterious. The so-called Heaven's Choice Assembly is nothing more than a legend. The ancient texts can no longer be examined. As for how to obtain the Heaven's Choice, we still need to carefully explore it. The most important thing now is to heal and restore my strength. Ling Zhao thought to himself. The primal chaos ancient land was filled with danger, and no one knew what dangers lay ahead. Ling Zhao had been separated from the white dragon horse, Shui Wei, and Fatty Blackie. However, they had all entered the primal chaos ancient land through the passageway to the primal chaos ancient land. Whoosh! The chaotic light around Ling Zhao's body trembled, and the vast expanse of white bones suddenly exploded into fine powder with a loud rumble. Then, it was swept away by the endless waves, and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Ling Zhao, on the other hand, leaped into the sky and sped off into the distance. He had already sensed that there was an island in the distance. There were fluctuations and auras of living beings there. Perhaps he could obtain some information about the ancient land of primal chaos from there. Ling Zhao was like a bolt of lightning. Soon, he had traversed tens of thousands of miles of sea area, and saw a lush island. The island had a radius of tens of thousands of miles. Half of the island was a mountain range, while the other half was a plain. The mountain range was undulating, and the peaks were towering into the sky. On the plain, there was a stone city. There was a group of incomparably simple and unadorned buildings, and there was an aura of living beings inside. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He saw that the stone city was enveloped by a resplendent boundary array. A group of experts wearing animal skins stood on top of the stone city, and each of them held a saber, spear, and staff in their hands. Each of them looked as if they were facing a formidable enemy. There were several extraordinary young men floating in front of the stone city. Each of them had an incomparably powerful aura, and all of them had a cultivation of 7th revolution half-saint or above. Their eyes were incomparably cold, and they had an aloof attitude. The leader was a young man wearing a purple python robe. His face was handsome, and the corners of his mouth were curled up in a smile. However, his eyes were very cold. His cultivation was also the highest among them, and he had already reached the 9th revolution half-saint realm. Shurqing, I'll give you one more chance. Hand over the real dragon blood Ganoderma. Otherwise, don't blame me for raising your rock spirit tribe to the ground. The young man wearing the purple python robe said indifferently, and gave the ultimatum. Holy Sun, our rock spirit tribe really doesn't have the real dragon blood Ganoderma. If you really want to be so aggressive, our rock spirit tribe will not hesitate to fight. On top of the stone city, a burly man wearing animal skins and holding a mountain-splitting axe said with a wry smile. However, his expression was incomparably resolute. His blood and chi were monstrous, and his muscles were as hard as mountain rocks. His whole body exuded a kind of iron-blooded evil spirit. Although his cultivation was not high, and was only at the 7th revolution half-saint realm, there was no trace of fear in his eyes. You're about to die, and you still dare to be stubborn? If I didn't get the exact information, how could I come to your rock spirit tribe? The real dragon blood Ganoderma is in the rock spirit mountain behind you, right? Since you don't want to give up, wait for me to raise your rock spirit tribe, and then dig up the rock spirit mountain to find it slowly. The young man wearing the purple python robe sneered. His eyes were full of evil spirit, and his body began to erupt with an incomparably terrifying power fluctuation. Holy Sun, I really don't know what you mean. We really don't have the real dragon blood Ganoderma. The burly man, Shirqing, still said with incomparable determination. Then wait for me to destroy your rock spirit tribe. Let's see if you'll still say that. The young man wearing the purple python robe had a flash of evil spirit in his eyes. A purple gold war spear appeared in his hand, and he pierced it towards Shirqing on top of the stone city. Rumble. The purple war spear was wrapped in the power of wind and thunder. The lightning was blazing and contained a sharp edge that could penetrate everything. The rune-bounded domain on top of the stone city began to tremble violently. Rock spirit tribe is resisting stubbornly. Die. Many genius experts behind the young man in the purple python robe sneered, and one after another, they used their powerful means to kill. Something strange. Ling Xiao stood in the sky and concealed his aura, but at this moment, he felt that something was wrong. Although those people on top of the stone city looked full of fear, Ling Xiao felt that the fear on their faces was fake, as if they had something to rely on. Chapter 2081. Boom! The purple gold battle spear flew through the sky with a blazing light. It was like a pillar of lightning as it crashed into the stone city. The barrier on the stone city trembled violently. Runes exploded one after another as if it had been hit by a meteor. Instantly, cracks appeared as if it would shatter at any time. Retreat! Shirqing's eyes flashed and he raised his hand. Immediately, the experts of the Shi-Ling tribe on the stone city retreated rapidly. Want to escape? Where can you escape to? Break! The young man in the purple robe sneered. His eyes were blazing. The purple gold battle spear in his hand pierced through the air again. Suddenly, the barrier on the stone city exploded. With the young man in the purple robe as the leader, everyone immediately charged into the stone city and was about to start a bloody massacre. Crack! At this moment, the void shook violently. Around the stone city, endless blood light instantly filled the air. It was vast like a sea of blood, enveloping the young man in the purple robe and the others. Rumble! In the stone city, blood light filled the air. It was filled with evil and bloodthirsty fluctuations. In an instant, an extremely terrifying figure emerged from the sea of blood. Ancestor, another wave of sacrifices has arrived. Shirqing respectfully bowed to the blood-red figure. Hee. Shirqing, you're very good. These sacrifices have strong blood qi and extraordinary bones. I'm very satisfied. Ha ha ha. The blood-red figure let out an old and cruel laugh. The terrifying sound waves caused the surrounding space to tremble. The young man in the purple robe's expression changed instantly. You're the blood demon ancestor. Damn it, why are you in the stone spirit tribe? The young man's expression changed drastically. His eyes were full of shock and anger. A rune appeared in his palm and was crushed by him. Don't waste your time. In my infinite blood realm, not only can you not escape, you can't even send a message. You'd better obediently become my blood food. Ha ha ha. The blood-red figure laughed loudly. In an instant, the surrounding space shook and blood-red demonic figures emerged from the sea of blood. They then pounced towards the young man and the others. Crack! Like blood-red lightning, the void was instantly filled with blood-red demonic shadows. They were extremely fast and filled with strange and evil power. Several blood-red demonic shadows pounced on a 7th Revolution half-saint youth. The youth looked terrified. Although he attacked madly, his attacks didn't hit the blood-red demonic shadows. Furthermore, the Saint Path True Kong around him was unable to stop the blood-colored demonic shadow at all. The demonic shadow pounced on him in an instant, and his life force weakened at a rate visible to the naked eye. His essence and blood were sucked dry by the blood-colored demonic shadow. A seventh revolution half-saint had died in an instant. Ah, get out of my way. Senior brother, save me. In the void, miserable screams rang out one after another. Apart from the young man in the python robe, the other geniuses simply had no way to resist the crimson demonic shadows. Very quickly, they were all devoured and completely turned into nourishment for the blood sea. Blood demon ancestor, you deserve to die. My young master won't let you go. The young man in the python robe's eyes were spitting fire, but he had no time to care about other things at this moment. Hundreds of blood-red demonic shadows pounced on him. Although he tried his best to resist with blazing lightning around him, he soon fell into a disadvantageous position. Are you talking about Feng Qingyang? When I recover my cultivation, the first thing I'll do is to kill him. The blood-red figure's eyes revealed a trace of resentment. The killing intent around him was monstrous. He suddenly pounced on the young man in the python robe. Rumble. The blood-red light was dazzling, causing the surrounding sky to tremble. The blood-red figure was 10,000 feet tall, like a blood demon supreme saint. Although the young man in the python robe was a 9th revolution half-saint, he was no match for the blood-red figure. The lightning around him was destroyed. Streaks of blood-red light formed blazing saber auras. They were extremely sharp and slashed towards the young man in the python robe. Crack! Every saber aura was extremely terrifying. When it slashed the young man in the python robe, it immediately devoured some of his blood essence. However, the young man in the python robe had no way to stop it. Soon, more than half of his blood essence was devoured. His eyes revealed an incomparable look of despair. Blood demon ancestor, my young master will definitely avenge me. Ah, the young man roared, but his voice came to an abrupt end. He had been swallowed up by the blood-red figure. All that was left of him was a set of white bones that fell into the sea of blood. He vanished without a trace in an instant. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen powerful half-saints were devoured by the sea of blood. Rumble. The blood-red light filled the air and a powerful vitality gushed out. The blood-red figure began to solidify. Its aura rose and its face gradually became clear. Finally, it turned into a skinny young man in a blood-red robe. His face was extremely malicious, and his eyes were filled with a cruel and cunning light. Congratulations on recovering from your injuries and making great progress in your cultivation, ancestor. Shi Qing and the other members of the rock spirit tribe knelt before the blood demon ancestor respectfully. Their eyes were filled with awe. You guys are very good. A trace of satisfaction appeared in the blood demon ancestor's eyes. In an instant, hundreds of rays of blood-red light escaped from his body and merged into Shi Qing and the others' bodies with incomparable accuracy. Rumble. Immediately, blood-red light filled the bodies of Shi Qing and the others. Their eyes were also dyed with blood-red light. Their auras began to rise violently. All of them revealed expressions of incomparable enjoyment. Some of them even moaned in comfort. Their cultivation also began to rise, filled with blood-red divine light. The blood demon ancestor. An expert at the 3rd level of the heaven-treading realm. For some reason, he was heavily injured and hid in this small rock spirit tribe. He turned these members of the rock spirit tribe into his descendants. Looks like this blood demon ancestor's status in the blood clan isn't low. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. One of the worlds in the universe was the blood world. The blood clan was the ruler of the blood world. They were extremely powerful. Countless eras ago, they had entered the god world and became the epic lord. Their foundation was extremely deep. Ling Zhao guessed that the blood demon ancestor was probably a powerful member of the blood clan. Friend in the sky, you've been watching the show for so long. You should have seen enough, right? Why don't you come down and have a chat with me? At this moment, the blood demon ancestor's eyes flashed as he stared at Ling Zhao in the sky and spoke slowly.